y'all been starting rumors, let me help you with some. Yeah.
He's a racist, he's a sexist, he's in love with Donald Trump.
Y'all can't cancel me, my life is scandal free. There ain't no sponsors taking losses cause the brand is me. My hands are clean, my family and my fans agree. Y'all can't cancel me for facts because you're mad and weak. Go ahead and tell the world I'm ugly and racist. I braid my hair and I don't care about cultural appropriation. I moved to the ghetto, lived in the ghetto, there's no Caucasians. And still I loved every single one of my neighbors. How's a man say I'm clickbait if he gonna use this face to get clicks on his page? Y'all hypocrites are made. But I ain't tripping about these bullies, it ain't 6th grade. Go ahead and diss me trying to sell a couple mixtapes. I'm not afraid, take my face and my name, paste it on the front page. I'm already famous and you'll never change it by hating or claiming you'll take it away. My grind wicked, write my rhymes different. You can try to quantify, define limits as a dying gimmick and deny I'm winning. This is pure fire, this ain't white privilege. I do what I want, get all the Gucci and Louis Vuitton out of my closet, out of my crib. I do not want it, that is for kids, that is for rappers who ask you to produce their beats for free, pretending online like they rich. I am not playing it safe, I said what I said, it is what it is.
I don't care if you mad at me, okay? Go ahead and change the channel. Don't waste your time trying to cancel me. They love me cause they know that I'm it. Say what you want, I guess it is what it is. Haters can talk, but they can't cancel the kid. Go ahead and go off, try and say this is it. But I swear to God, you can't cancel the kid.
Everybody knows my name, from local folks to global fame. I'm vocal about the social justice movements. I expose the fakes, turn rappers into ghosts and graves. Make no mistake, they bones will break. I'll throw them in the wolf enclosure, slowly turn and close the cage. Acres full of sheep, you know that I'm the only goat. I'm great, they spoke my name to mostly hate. I don't complain, I'm woke, I wait. A total focus soldier, wrote the art of war, know every page. I'm numb to all the dumbness, smoke tobacco laced with Novocaine. I won't behave, I stoke the flames. I'll choke they throats with golden chains. Use vocal cords as skipping ropes and jump till I am soaked in brains. From open plains to coastal waves to solar rays in open space. Can't find nobody doper unless you poke your veins and snort cocaine. Whoa, y'all can't cancel me. Just get mad that I'm the man until you smash the screen. Like whoa, I can handle heat. I walk through hell in open sandals drinking gasoline. Yeah, I could've been a star, could've had a mansion and a car and a Grammy album on the charts. I'm a savage, Randy with the bars. I don't rap about Xanax, goddammit, can't cancel facts. We need answers, championing trash to the masses actually massively damages, y'all. Keep trying to cancel me, y'all. I own the masters, so y'all. I make the beats, I write the songs, I own the cameras, y'all. I could've been famous, dumb my music down till it's basic. Get it on the hottest Spotify playlist, modify my catalog and go mainstream, y'all.
I don't care if you mad at me, okay? Go ahead and change the channel. Don't waste your time trying to cancel me. They love me cause they know that I'm it. Say what you want, I guess it is what it is. Haters can talk, but they can't cancel the kid. Go ahead and go off, try and say this is it. But I swear to God, you can't cancel the kid.
I feel like all these rappers lately on a mission. They starting drama, they don't really want no problems, so they talk in whispers. Don't even start, no competition, y'all are finished. They say they feeling froggy, but I bet none of these frogs gon' rip it. They think I'm soft, but I promise y'all that I'm solid like a rock inside a Teflon box and dipped in carbon fiber liquid. I'm not religious, but I walk with Christians. If Jesus died for all my sins, he'd need 1,000,000 crosses tall as buildings. Y'all can't cancel me. I'm a god and you're the devil, stop attacking me. Like whoa, nails in my hands and feet. Y'all some snakes, I don't need fruit from that apple tree. I ain't doing features or buying beats. I'm a wolf, I don't lie with sheep. I am what I am, and I can't hide my teeth. Way too many rumors, I'm like, who said it? Never met him, if he dissed me, probably about to drop a new record. I do what I want, don't matter if I get approval or not. Y'all ain't gonna cyberbully me or try to push on me until I'm becoming some dude who I'm not. Head full of ludicrous thoughts, producing the songs. My music is truth and you brutally shocked. I'm shooting my shot, I'm Biggie, I'm shady, I'm new school pop. Go ahead and call me a piece of garbage, make a starving artist your primary target. I'm the largest monster in the farthest darkness, I'm a closet sharpened, I'm an army sergeant. If people wanna hate, then I'm grateful. It's only gonna make what I say less painful. Look at my face, I'm braced, I'm unstable. I ain't gonna break or shake or feel shameful.
I don't care if you mad at me, okay? Go ahead and change the channel. Don't waste your time trying to cancel me. They love me cause they know that I'm it. Say what you want, I guess it is what it is. Haters can talk, but they can't cancel the kid. Go ahead and go off, try and say this is it. But I swear to God, you can't cancel the kid.
Hello, everyone. It's Veronica Bartolini with Unchained Hearts. Woo! What do you guys think about that song, huh? Tom
I love it. My daughter
McDonald.
likes that song.
Really?
Yeah.
Guys, it was the first time that I ever listened to it the other day, and I had to send it to Katie. I heard it from, the first song that I ever heard from him was Fake Woke, and it was Eric Hecker that put it on Mayway, and I'm like, I'm going to have to share it. But anyway, I am going to let my guests take over. I have Silvia Vasquez and Jamil Vasquez, and I met them through James Ring. And I actually had an opportunity to meet Silvia, her daughter, and their other brother, Andy Vasquez, in person. And man, I just broke down when I met him because I'm like, these are real super soldiers like me. Like, I thought I was the only one. So thanks for being on, you guys. And whoever wants to talk first, take it away. Sylvia?
Yeah,
Okay.
I was gonna say you want me to introduce myself or just?
Yes, please.
Okay. My name is Sylvia Vasquez. I'm 45. I just turned 45 this January. Lived in Tucson since '89, but born in Ohio, Findlay. Let's see. Our life was crazy, you might say. Let's see. What do you want me to start with?
Just like a little bit about like your abilities. You know, you've been on shows before. How you know Max Spears? You know, you counseled him too. Your awakening, and whatever's on your mind.
Okay. Basically, my awakening didn't start till late. I was basically in a religion where, it was very restricted in knowing anything the outside world, as you may say. I was a Jehovah's Witness. And so you could tell that religion was very strict. So I didn't really know a lot about like conspiracies or anything with outside. And the only thing how I knew was through my brother Jamin. He educated me a lot on that. I was at first very skeptical because of the Bible-based religion and everything. So my mind wasn't very clarified on aliens and abduction, whatever you call it, from conspiracy stuff. I finally got more educated. How is my brother was talking to me, and a lot of things that he mentioned to me actually applied to my experiences. So that kind of got me a little bit thinking, okay, maybe this is what's happening to me. I was very blinded by what he was telling me at first. Sometimes I disagreed with my brother because, religion got the best of me and with God and everything. So, but I realized about the religion also is it's an occult. So it kind of added up to the story of my experiences with, sex slavery from the, being a mind control victim of sex abuse. So it put a lot in our family because there's a lot of incest in our family, sadly. But it had a lot to do with the religion also. And it was all based on mind control. And I really started experiencing mainly more abductions than anything when I was in my 20s. My first abduction was, if I could remember, it was just being taken out of my bed and going out of my body, basically levitating. And that really scared me so much. And then it got progressively more scary when I was lost track of time. My first experience with that was I was in my apartment and I got up at 3:00 and all of a sudden I don't remember anything. I got orange juice from the fridge, I remember, and that was it. And then I woke up sitting up on a couch watching television at 6 a.m. So that was a big time frame lap. That was huge. But a lot of things have happened to me. I got pregnant by the Greys. I remember I wasn't very sexually active because of, being a Christian and everything. I wasn't very sexually as much as active as normal. Everyone would have sex and get pregnant. But my mom noticed that my stomach was getting big, and she told me, Mija, are you pregnant? And I'm like, no, Mom, I'm not. And I remember I didn't have sex at that time frame she was telling me. But anyways, after a while, I had a lot of pregnancy symptoms, and that kind of scared me. And I felt movement in my stomach, and that was really terrifying me, actually. I never got a test. I don't know why I didn't get a pregnancy test. But anyways, after like maybe like 4, 5, 6 weeks from now, on that point, I woke up with the remembrance of a baby, an alien baby. It was shown to me. And I think that was something that was verified, that that was my baby. I felt that was my baby. It was not a human form. It was more like a gray being, and it was wrapped in a cloth, and it was a baby. And I started getting levitating a lot from my room. I would grab my couch, my bed, and I would hear the beams of light hit my face. That was very terrifying, because I knew when they sedated me, it felt so horrible. I hated the feeling of being with all this feeling of weirdness in my body. And then I wake up with just feeling nauseous and very sick. I didn't know why. I was really sick and didn't want to get up. But my mom, I had to call my mom and tell her, Mom, I'm not doing well. And she noticed I was pale. And those are the abduction cases I've been having a lot during my 20s. It was very, very scary. I had a lot of post-traumatic stress disorder because of it. I sometimes had friends over, and all of a sudden I would just relive that moment when they were taking me. And my friends didn't understand what was wrong with me. I was just applying to what happened to me. I guess what I was on a floor position on my knees, stiff and scared. I was like just in a panic mode. And I didn't know why I was doing that. And so my friends were asking me, so are you okay? Are you okay? But those are the traumatic moments I've had during my abduction cases. I still get scared. I have to have the light on. I remember one incident where I was on my stomach and they did some drilling in my back of my head, actually. I thought it was a dream. I'm like, oh God, please let this be a dream, because it was horrible. Because I felt the hands of an alien touching I knew it was cold, clammy hands. There were long fingers. And I remember them drilling in the back of my head, actually. And then I remembered I woke up with this bruised, painful feeling, like the same in my dream as I thought it was a dream. And that was another incident that happened to me, which really made me believe this is really happening to me. And it progressed from there. I mean, it was a lot about super soldier stuff that my brother was telling me. I didn't really, at first I didn't believe him on that, but I realized I was getting flashbacks, regressed memories of being, I was basically being trained and do missions. And I remember one incident with the mission was, there was these two big buildings. They were abandoned buildings. You could tell they'd been attacked a lot. I don't know. It was like this war going on, buildings. And I remember I was in the middle and there were two people beside me, but I didn't really see their faces. I was just focusing on me. And all of a sudden I had to run, and I was running towards straight was like a hospital, and it had a sliding door, and then the lights were on there. And I remember running towards it, and then I was hearing gunshots aiming at me, all from both sides. Mm-hmm. And I know I got shot, and I hid under this I made it to the hospital inside, and I went under one of the rooms, and there was a hospital bed there. I remember hiding under there, and this man, I guess, in a hospital, like a doctor, came in, mm-hmm. and he's like, "Are you okay?" And I knew I was shot. I was bleeding. I felt blood. And that was the only thing I remembered. And there was another incident also where I was shooting a lot of people at a mall with mm-hmm. some guy. And didn't know why. I was enjoying it. But anyways, I remember getting in the car with him, and he asked me if I enjoyed it, and said, yes, I did. And I had a big gun in my hand and between my legs on the passenger side, holding it like, do you like it? And I was just really with this adrenaline energy of hatred, yeah. like satisfied with it.
Right.
And that's all I remembered. But
so you were like a CIA trained assassin. You were also in the sex kitten program. Do you remember having anything in the back of your neck when you woke up in one of the incidents, like when they were drilling in your head, or do you just remember like the bruising, like a migraine thing? Is that what it was?
Yes, it felt like really pain. I couldn't even lay on my back with it. Like, you know, wow. You lay down and it was so painful, and I felt like a bump. Mm-hmm. I noticed a lot. Go ahead.
Sorry. What about like when you got shot? Do you like check yourself? I check myself every morning, mm-hmm. like just especially when I know I'm being taken, because I'll have like burn marks or prong marks, you know. Have you ever seen anything like that on your body?
No, I didn't really focus on that time,
Hmm.
but I started noticing I got bruised. Like I woke up one morning and I felt I was limping on my knee, and I didn't fall or anything. I know I remember that day. I woke up next morning. I started limping. What is wrong with my knee? Like I fell,
Hmm.
and it hurt. I couldn't walk. It was just killing me,
Hmm.
and I did get bruises and weird spots in my body. Um, Sometimes I would wake up. One day, it was my brother was with me at this time, and my brother could relate to that because he was with me at the time. And I woke up one morning. I spent it at my brother's house. I woke up and I felt like everything I was seeing wasn't real. Like I was waking up like I couldn't grasp what I was seeing. Like in my head, you trying to like when you look around, you could just it's a couch,
Oh
it's
yeah.
a you know.
Hmm.
I was panicking. I was like, Jamin, what's wrong with me? I'm scared. I don't know what's wrong with me. I was just really scared. I don't know. That feeling was so scary. My brother was so there for me, and he says, Sylvia, it's okay. It's part of the program. I'm like, Jamin, I'm scared. Like nothing was making sense to my surroundings.
Yeah.
Like I could not just be normal, wake up the good morning. It was just like panic mode.
Yeah.
And I
Well,
usually wake up hyperventilating and stuff. It was really horrible.
yeah. Well, thank you, Miss Sylvia. We're gonna hear from Jamin, and then if he, if you said that your awakening happened like later on, right? Like, would you
Mhm.
say in your 20s then?
My
30s?
20s when I started getting taken. And
Okay.
then gradually from the 30s, then I realized I'm in this mission, like I am this program.
Mm-hmm.
There are things that I was weird to me. Like I used to, oh my God, I loved, like I got into Wiccan witchery stuff.
Mm-hmm.
And I realized that had a lot to do with it because they called me the Illuminati witch too. And my brother was telling me something, and got into candles. I know Wiccan isn't a bad religion, but I'm just saying in general, I didn't got into that kind of things because of my religion. I believed in God, and that was it. That was my faith. And all of a sudden, I got into a lot of the candles, the crystals, things like that. It was just not out of the norm for me at the time.
Yeah.
But I
But
I
crystals and candles, they're not bad. You know what I mean?
know they're
They're
not.
part of.
That's why I
Now
said
you
Wiccan wasn't
know
bad.
that. But it's the
But in my
religious
religion,
people.
it's considered a bad thing, and
Right.
that was a lot it was confusing me
Mm-hmm.
because I know Wiccan isn't a bad religion or anything. I love it, but at the time it was just a big change from a Christian faith religion
Mm-hmm.
automatically changed to Wiccan out of nowhere because I didn't get into that I was so behind on a lot of things because of the
But see,
religion kind of didn't.
the thing of it is that the religion, they were using you as they were using me, for our gifts. And then when you go into the Wiccan and you find out, or because I think that's part of your awakening too. When you went into the Wiccan and you found out your true power, it's like, wow, I
Exactly.
am a sovereign soul. Like I don't need religion. I don't need a savior. So
Exactly.
thank you, Miss Sylvia. And now
You're
Mr.
welcome.
Hameen or Jamin.
Hello.
Hello.
So let's see. Well, uh, let's start with the introduction beginning for me. Similar to Sylvia, I was born in Findlay, Ohio, and I was born December 6th of 77. It was winter, and there's one particular incident in my birth that I tried to talk to my mom about it, because you know how it is when you have little pieces of memory of your childhood that dates back before you're 5. You will have little flashbacks, little memories uh, that some people tend to remember. Um, I remember uh, clearly, well, not clearly, but like a child memory of I was in a cradle, like when you're born, they put you in that like a baby cradle, and you're looking up and you see people's faces overhead. And I saw a lot of men and women over surrounding me. And I told my mom about that incident because I looked back and says I had to have been a baby or an infant. And my mom says, no, I don't remember any people looking down around you. And so I kind of blew that off. But as I got older, so we can relate that we were also abused. um, physically, emotionally, and sexually. Uh, and as a being a young boy, I was shy and very timid and low self-esteem because I had no friends. I grew up abused by my father and also my mother to a certain extent. She was more of a, as much as I love my parents and everything else that goes with it, they growing up with them was very traumatizing because of what each one carried with them. My mom was more controlling, and 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 if you step out of line a little bit, she would get my dad, and my dad was very physical and very abusive, physical. I was scared of him. I was scared of my father. Uh, so, and sexually as well, he did, and it affected a lot of my self-esteem issues. And going to school was even worse because they considered us, being poor that we were. We were picked on and bullied. I was picked on and bullied mainly by five kids on up, 5, 6, 7, 8 kids. And I remember getting bullied at school, and the teacher always believed that I was the fault of the problem. So I had no support. I had no one to turn to. So until one night, in the middle of the night, I was in Larkin Street. It was one of the homes that we lived in. Um, I was upstairs. Something compelled me to wake up in the middle of the night to look out the window. I looked out the window and I saw a silent moving object above our home. Underneath it had plates within plates. It was a metallic silver blackish tint to it that you could see the reflection overhead of the house. And it had lights moving, swaying left to right in all directions. And I saw the lights emanating from hitting the porch to the front yard. And I ran downstairs with my underwear to look outside and look up, and it was gone. I shared that information to my mom, and I got a beating for it because we were religious, and my mom thought that I was making the story up, and she would not had none of it. So a couple of nights later, I saw lights over, like white light, in my room in the middle of the night. Then I saw what appeared to be children coming up the steps into my room. My room did not have a door, so you can easily have access to it. And these little people came into my room. They had almond-shaped black eyes, and they moved very eerily. But I was not scared of them. I was curious about them because I was a nobody, and I had no friends. I had nobody, and there were children. They were about close to my height or a little bit lower, and they wanted to be my friend. One of them stretched their hands out to me. I gradually put my hand out to them. I touched the hand. It felt cold and clammy. And like my sister described the touch of the feeling of those beings. They told me to come with them. I came with them. I remember going downstairs with them. And I remember coming out from the front of the porch, outside the front of the porch, outside in the front. And I remember a bright light hitting me. And I remember them taking me to a bed, a metallic, cold bed. They told me to strip my underwear down, of course, I felt that I wanted to be accepted by anybody, regardless of what they look like. I didn't care because I wasn't taught that aliens existed back then. We were born and raised as Jehovah's Witnesses. So with respect, to the religion itself, it's okay, They look different. Maybe they're from another country or something. But anyway, I didn't care. I did what I was told because I told them that, will you be my friend? And they said, yes, we will. Just do what we tell you. So, okay. And I got on top of the slab. As it was cold, my butt was cold. I remember it. And they told me to slowly lay down. They had a pillow over. It's like a silverish kind of a sparkling kind of like a pillow light. And I laid my head. I felt my back was cold, and they put this blanket over me. And I remember they had like these bulb lights overhead,
What color were they?
the white lights.
White. Okay. Oh, like kind of
And,
like the surgery thing.
yeah,
Yeah,
and I
I
saw,
can't stand those.
I know, especially when hitting your face. It's like, oh.
Yeah.
So I saw their heads overhead. I saw the shadow. I saw their faces as they come closer to me because they had those big eyes. So I remember hearing some sounds and stuff that were doing to me. I blacked out from the event. It happened more so often that I was drawing and what is called scribbles on a piece of paper and pen. And I was drawing spaceships and explosions. I was into the world where science fiction and destruction meet collide. And I was telling my mom about the flying saucers and stuff. You know, I call it flying saucer peeps. I don't know what that came out of nowhere.
How old were you? How old were you when you were trying to tell your mom this?
I was if I had to put an age number, I would probably put 6 or 7, perhaps 7 or 8, maybe, in the 3-year gap, because it started on Larkin Street, pretty much. I do not know how old I was per se, but I was young enough where I had to been maybe 7. I think 7, 8 would be a good age number. Because at the time I don't recall age, being important to me, just the events. But when I told my parents, they thought there were demons. They labeled my experience as demons, and that I had something in my room that I shouldn't be having because I was drawing demons into my life.
Yeah, I remember that.
And I.
Oh, real quick, Devin, before I forget, there was a question. I don't know, Sylvia, you want to answer it, and then you jump in real quick before I forget, because then I'm gonna ask all kinds of questions. So there was a question through Facebook asking, how did you get rid of panic?
Like, what do you mean?
Yeah, you know how you were talking about, like, you would wake up being
hyperventilating.
Yeah, because what I'm getting is that this person, I don't know who asked the question, but they're going through something similar. They're going through this awakening, and they're trying to find out something other than meditation. Okay, because every time a question like this is like asked, even before I would be awakened, it's like I had to take DBT classes and all that stuff. But how did you guys deal with the panic when it happened, or did you ever get rid of the panic? That was the question.
No, from my experience, it's more like an anxiety at night when I go to bed. Then I start getting really bad panic attacks because I know they're coming. I feel they're going to be coming to get me that night. It's not going to go away, but I kind of learned to have faith somehow. I wear crystals, as you can see. It has helped me. You can't really get rid of them. And even if your body's so scared now because it knows it's what's going to happen, my experience, I kind of learned to just be positive, have some kind of faith in something to keep me going in my mind, thinking differently, because when they're coming, and since I'm an empath, I sense them around. I do get anxiety, really bad attacks, really bad. And it's sadly, you just gotta, I guess I'm learning to get immune to it. I try to ignore what's going to happen to me.
Yeah.
I usually play like song meditation music on my phone at night so I can go to sleep.
Yeah.
That really helps me a lot.
Yeah, I do too. What about you, Jamin?
Well, I'm more of a non-scared confrontation type of person that I should bring it I said, come over. You want to come play with me? Let's play. And I'm not type to want to ward off. I guess I have been, see, growing up, I didn't have nobody. And that now that I'm getting them coming, I am not afraid of them.
Right.
I says, here I am. I'm not going nowhere. You know, you're gonna come. You're gonna come. You know, I kind of grew up that no who care attitude. You know about them. You know, because I used to be scared, and eventually that fear breaks away, where
Yep.
you're more
Mhm.
confrontational, more upfront. I was never that. I used to be a timid little shy boy, scared of the draconians. I tell my mom about the lizard people, the giant lizard people. They look like T-Rexes. They're terrifying. They're
Yes.
big. Even iguana type races, the grays. My parents always thought they were demons, of course, but I was scared, and I
They
remember them
always
coming.
hide behind that, the religion. Oh, it's el diablo. I'm like, oh
Yeah.
God.
I know,
Hey,
but
Brandon, not to cut you short, tell them the experience when you were in bed and one of them, those the draconians were talking to you, and you talked to them a little bit while they're here, and you told me what they were saying to you.
well, I was terrified. A draconian in particular, he resembled a warrior type. This is in my room.
Was he white or black or green? What color was he?
It was come to think about it, he was whitish, like a Latino
Yeah.
color.
Those are the
And
Alpha Dracos. Yeah.
yeah, he had like wings,
Yeah.
like wing type,
Mhm.
but he seemed to be more in the lines of authoritative, more like I would view if I had to view him, I view him as like a leader, if that makes sense.
Yeah.
But he was speaking to me and describing how of our bloodline is connected to their bloodline in the sense of I have what they refer to as a rare blood type. This particular being was discussing that have a 1 or 2% blood type on the earth, rare blood type, and I later discovered it was an AB minus negative. I don't know how rare that is, but I guess
I'm
it's
a
rare.
-0, so kind of.
But
Yeah.
they said that our family has a long history with satanic, with a lot of connections with the negative type alien races, or a negative type of, because they work on a lower fourth density of beings that they are, meaning they can disappear from your visual eye, because we are third density type beings. That's what I've been related to, that they're able to do that, and that our bloodline itself, it dates way back. We have a satanic generation family of abuse, sexually, incest, and all that stuff. It dates way back, and we apparently my grandfather was heavily involved in this, which he passed away in 1972.
Oh, wow.
And he was really heavily involved in all this, and it affected my father. So now my father was, because he was religious, my father was, but he had that demon satanic conversation with my family growing up, that everything involved is demons and everything bad is demons. It's kind of complicated. It's all psychological damage in my family growing up. My family itself. We all been through abuse. Too bad that we were abused at the way we were, but it stretches way back in our family.
We have royal blood in us.
We
Yeah,
had
I was just gonna say.
we were told that anyone by this draconian being, I was told that we have royal blood, and there's many others like me. I was
Right.
not the only one. My family's not the only one. There were others, but due to my particular rare blood type, they only found 2% of the population on Earth that has my kind of DNA,
Right.
which I like. Okay, what's your point? You know,
I know. Yeah.
and they want to use me more.
Right. That's
And I
what they
felt that it
do.
was, yeah.
Mhm.
And it was more, when they want to use me more, it's not just taking DNA, taking my semen, taking my hair follicles, anything. Is
Mhm.
taking it to the next level of experiments. They
Yes.
wanted to test my abilities. So
Mhm.
this draconian was relating that down the road, I'm going to be given these tests. I'm going to be given these things because they are trying to get as many people as they can. Um, I guess what's called super soldiers
Right.
or mid labs. I later found out. I think that's what that being was leading on to. At the time, I was young and naive and don't know nothing what he was talking about. But I was scared. I was terrified. I was peeing in my pants, my underwear actually.
Mhm.
And but he disappeared, and I know it couldn't have been a dream because I was still standing there wet in top of my bed in the corner, terrified at this
Mhm.
being talking to me and telling me all these things that didn't make sense to me. And
Right.
when I tell my mom, again, it boils down to what I had in my room. And I said, I had nothing, Mom. I'm serious. I was scared. I was shaking. I felt like my whole energy left me, like I was weak in my legs. I saw this most terrifying Tyrannosaurus Rex, a creature, a velociraptor. I don't know what you want to call him,
Yeah.
but he was big. He was a big guy.
Yeah. I had a dream. I
Um,
had one of my memories is a T-Rex. He was coming, and he was running after me, and I was in the swimming pool. I had my kids with me and my nephews and nieces, and then I had to save them. So I told my kids and my nephews and nieces, run away, go that way, go out there. I don't know where, but just get out of here. And so the
yeah.
T-Rex was following me around, and I was hiding in the bathroom, and then I popped up like this to see if he was still there, and bam, he bites me, and then I had the
Oh
near-death
no.
experience.
Oh my God.
Yeah,
That's
a lot of people
scary.
ask me, okay, well,
But that's
what
that's
about,
actually,
huh?
sorry, real quick. That's the first, to my knowledge, that's my first and probably the last I had with a communication with an extraterrestrial. That was
Really?
the first and last. After that became more of hands-on.
Okay,
Like
so then after that, you have your super soldier experiences,
I
like
started
jump
having.
rooms,
Well,
things like that.
It started first with the experiments on me. They
Hmm.
were they were taking my blood, they were taking my semen, they were putting stuff in and out of me.
Katie, if you
And
don't mind putting that picture up there, there's two of them, so the audience can see. If you don't mind. Yeah, they augmented our DNA too, right?
yeah, they do a lot. That's why I later discovered down the road that we have sleepers worldwide. These
Hmm.
sleepers are super soldiers
Yeah.
or mid-labs. They're sleeper agents. They're right now walking among us, doing their normal routine, getting up, going to work, feeding their families, taking care of them, having fun, taking vacations. But in actuality, there's a large amount of people that are sleepers.
Hmm.
And so it's scary because, there's some of us, like a few percentage, like us that we're talking about this, have
Hmm.
broken have broken out of that sleeper mentality or level,
Right.
that we're waking up and we're figuring, oh my God, what's been happening to us? I remember this, I remember that, I remember this. They're waking up. Some of us are waking up.
Yeah.
Some of us are still asleep. And again, I'm not. There's many more of me. There's you, my sister Sylvia, my family, and there's other people who were like James Rink or at the time XP. There's a lot of people who, on certain levels, have super soldiers type abilities,
Hmm.
and some
And
are
you know
more.
what? Speaking of Max Spears, I want to hear, Sylvia. I want to hear your interaction with him, with Max Spears, and then I want to have Jamin talk about like that jump room that we were in with Max Spears, if you guys don't mind. Because he did
Okay.
mention your name in one of his videos, Sylvia. He
Yes,
thanked you.
he did. I
Hmm.
was so like emotional He was a wonderful guy. Besides all this, he was a normal, loving, caring person. I met Max, if I could just remember, it's been 6 years. She's known me for over 6 years. I think it was through James Rink, because I know they were close before. I had a friend request, of course, was Max. I didn't know who he was, actually. I was like, oh, he's handsome. Um, but anyways, he started really chatting with me about what we're talking about now. And he felt connected, like he knew me too. Like he felt there was something about me that he was intrigued with. And I told him my experiences. And he said, Sylvia, I felt you were a psychic. I knew something special about you. And I said, really? And at the time, I wasn't really very open-minded with the psychic abilities, but I really thought I knew I was. I mean, I was just kind of in denial in that moment. But you know what? He's always chatted with me and confided in me with things that he would never tell anyone. And he was talking about his experience at the pub, as I told you. That was something he trusted me with. And I think he knew at that time that he was not going to make it very long, because I think that was a sign of him passing. There was more like we just chat. Like one time, as I told you, but I will talk on here, he was in Phoenix, Arizona. Apparently he met a young lady there, and I guess he did not know about her. She was doing black ritual satanic stuff. And Max always had, everywhere he went was always something about, voodoo or magic or satanic something. And he met this girl, and it was weird. I think her name was Monica also.
Oh, wow.
That name came up again. I think he knew her. I don't know if this was the same Monica he met in Poland, but her name was Monica. That name just always kind of lingered with him. I don't know why. But anyways, he said, Sylvia, I don't want to be here anymore. I'm like, why? And he's like, well, this lady, I've been getting nightmares. I feel like she's doing satanic rituals or something on me, and I don't like to be here anymore. And I remember him asking to go back to California, because that's where he's from at the time. And he asked me for a little bit of money, and which I was going to give him, no problem, because I got paid that day. Also, the following day I got paid. And he was very thoughtful and kind. But you know what, though? It was the fact that he confided in me. He wanted to stay with me. Unfortunately, the circumstances were not the greatest for me at the time. I should have maybe let him stay with me, and I would have known him a little bit more better. But he respected me, and he goes, I understand, Sylvia, you have a daughter. I'm going back to California. But, during the times, he's always chatted with me about questions about, like, he trusted me. Like, Sylvia, I know you're a psychic. I know you will find something about me. And I've always explained to him, okay, Max, this was happening to you right now, isn't it? He's like, yes. He always said, man, Sylvia, you're a really genuine person, and I really love you for that. And I've been real close with him ever since. We were really close. He did mention a lot of things about my brother a little bit. I mean, he kind of knew my brother Jamin a little bit more. He said, I recognize your brother somehow, Sylvia. I don't know why, but I just feel this connection with him. But, that's how I knew about Max. And then he started bringing his videos up. And Sarah Adams, which I don't like to talk bad about people, but, she was the type of woman that actually said I was powerful than her in psychic abilities, because she tested me also. And that was like, wow, really.
So that's what they call, real quick, that's what they call being shopped. I've been shopped so many times because, I've had people saying, hey, what should I invest in, this stock, that stock,
Yes.
because they can't see the future. But they want to know. They test us to see how good we are, if we're lying or not. So it's like,
Exactly.
you're being shopped, and it's like, God dang it, I still have to do it because,
They always ask me, Sylvia, what about this? Should I do this? What do you think is best for me? Should I be with that person? I'm like, oh my God.
Yeah. So,
but I love Max, and bless his heart. Rest him, I know he's with us every day.
He's still with us. Yes.
Yes, exactly. What's the weirdest thing is, I told you, he's during the time frame, not like a month or two ago, I was thinking about him. And actually when people pass, you kind of like focus on what you're doing in your life, everyday life. But he came across to me, and for me being a medium, I saw him in the back of the seat of my car. And I was like, hi, Max. I was alone in the car. My brother was in the store, but I felt he was communicating with me. And I think he mentions I made you meet Veronica. Like he was communicating,
Oh,
like it was a connection. And I said, I miss you, Max. And he's been in my dreams before too. And it was a nice seeing his spirit next to me and talking to him. And he really, really wants this out.
yes, he
And
does.
he used, I guess, you as a special to help us get this out. He's not done.
No.
He's gonna live on forever with this, but he's really not done with his mission, what he wants to do. And I
Yeah.
think that he was trying to communicate with that with me. But yeah, Max was a wonderful person. I miss him very much every day. And you know that video really, every time I love to hear him say my name, just my name, I felt honored because he was a
Yeah.
special friend of mine.
Yeah. So beautiful. Thank you, Sylvia.
Mhm.
So, Jamin, did you want to talk a little bit more of your experience and or how did you want to talk a little bit about Max or how we
Yeah, I like
joined the
to
room? Or,
I like to add on to my sister Sylvia's statement about Max Spears, and this is part of my flashback that I shared with you.
Mhm.
I was with in this flashback on my left hand side was Max Spears, and in front of me
That's my
and
tape.
with is with other super soldiers. There's about 33 of us. We refer to as unit or Project 33, or that's what it came to be known to me as. Um, and I saw you, Veronica. You were behind two individuals. One of them was a woman, Irish
oh,
speaking
yeah, I
lady.
told Susan that's her. That's Susan Long.
Yeah, and I would love to meet her because I saw her and I saw another gentleman. You were behind. You had your arms like like straight, with straight, you know. And saw Max next to me, and we were told to be at ease, or to talk among yourselves, and while they were doing some comparing notes or doing whatever they were doing. I'll remember that I saw Max. We had a discussion, a funny discussion,
We were
and
in an underground military base,
it was
right?
an underground
With
facility.
flash
It resembled,
uniforms.
it was underground facility. How I figured that was because it was a building structured, of course, and it would look like a cave overhead. Like it was like building underneath the cave or whatever it
And that's when
resembled.
I was
It
telling
was
you
a
that
facility room.
that's crazy. Remember we were discussing about me being under the cave with those domes and there's water. And it's funny because when I was drawing it, you were actually, before I told you about it, you already explained your story about that, and then I shared it with you. So I was with you down in that cave. Remember that with the
And
dome?
right, and it's a very possibility, very much so, that Silva could have been part of the unit itself. I was more directly with Max Spears in the
Mhm.
conversation we were having. Uh, uh, and it must have been a funny joke because we were both laughing on the topic. But there was another gentleman, a black gentleman. He had a scar on his uh, left side. It was a scar from his upper part going down to his eye. It's a nasty scar, and it was a scar they seemed to be proud of for some apparent reason. But he was very talkative. We call him a chatterbox because he was talking to Max Spears and like getting in a conversation, and so Max Spears didn't want to be rude. He listened to him and said some conversation and all that. Then this guy was just went all over the place. So me and Max I just talked to Max and we just started saying something and kind of chuckled. And the atmosphere was very pleasant. It wasn't stiff and it wasn't serious. Everybody was. The Irish lady was speaking to the black guy and saying, "Hey, making some kind of joke about him and saying that he was a chatterbox." And she said, "But by the time I get this conversation over, I'm going to need a pub, like a drink, because after this guy will keep talking, and she couldn't like shut up." And
Yeah.
but anyway, but one of the gentlemen in white overall coats came up to me and Max Spears and says, "That's good. That's good. Did you two know that you guys are born 1 year apart? You guys could be like twins or whatever." I mean, just whatever conversation he had. It, I just remember me and Max. He looked at my way, smiled, and said, "Yeah," and I tapped him over the shoulder, and he was smiling and laughing. Then and you said something like, wow, you know,
One
like,
of my favorite words. Wow.
yeah, you came up and you approached that word. We both all looked your direction, and you're smiling. You came up forward. You came up a lot forward, and like you put your arms right back loose, and you came forward a little bit. And Max Spears, you were looking at Max Spears. You weren't looking at me, but you were looking at Max Spears when you said "wow," and all that. But we had numbers on our shoulders, left hand shoulders, um, and but I couldn't see yours and I couldn't see Max. And I didn't saw mine either. I just know because the black guy had a number on his thing.
Do you remember
But
any numbers on anyone?
no, because everybody was facing me, talking, but they were loose, but they were not like moving through shoulder to shoulders and letting me see numbers. They were just talking to each other next to each other. Very loose, but not too loose. Somehow me and Max were kind of loose. We were just one of the guys, and just talking and all. And one of the men says, one of the guys, charge wanted, I think, 6 of us. He chose 6 people. And Max Spears was called, and you were called. And the chatterbox, they referred to the guys as chatterbox. He came third, and so forth. Some of them were leaving. And I says, I might have said, take care, Max, or take care, sir. Max Spears had a leadership quality when you get to know him in person.
Yeah.
You felt that he was in charge of the group. He had that leadership capacity that I picked up when I had a conversation with him under this flashback. And people felt they were clinging on to him as sort of like main person to talk to or discuss, have discussions with. But anyway, he left with the 5 others, and I stayed. I was not called to be part of that. I don't know what it became of him and 5 others. But I felt that after that flashback, I realized, oh my God, I am a super soldier. I had many experiences being one, but it confirmed I recognized 2 faces, you, Veronica, and Max Spears. It confirmed that on my flashbacks, this solidified the fact that I was involved in this operations.
Thank you, Gemma, because I know Sylvia. Oh my gosh, like Sylvia called me. She's like, "My brother remembers you. My brother remembers you." And I'm like, "How?"
Yes, definitely. And I wrote down key individuals, focus, because you know how it is when you think you're dreaming, you see a face and you move on to
exactly.
another face. And I remember to stay focused to one face at a time and stay and connect the dots. Look intently at that person as much as possible. The hair, the eyes, nose, mouth, lips, the body, the tattoos. I learned to write things down. And you stood out more when I first saw the Facebook of your picture, like instant, like, oh my God, I know you. Then at first, I was, wait a minute, you couldn't know her, Jay. Somebody just introduced you to her. Come on. So, but it's a flashback, and I had to go back into it. And says, oh my God, this is her. I had a few cases there.
I thought it was so cool because Jamin didn't know, like he told me, he's like, I haven't seen any of your Facebook pictures. The only one I saw was the one of when I used to be a police officer. That's the one that stood out to you. You didn't see any of my YouTube videos with James, nothing like that. Before, guys, and I'm telling the audience, so when I actually talked to Jamin on the phone for like an hour and a half or 2, we were like, whoa, like comparing notes, because I had already done a regression with James, like 3 of them, and I had already seen the Hulk. I had already, when Jamin said that I was named La Dragona, I was like, oh my God, like I have 3 tattoos of 3 different dragons. I mean, if you guys see my profile picture, it's La Dragona there, and then the 2 dragons. So, it was just like I was in shock for like a whole month with and really like happy that I actually met Sylvia and her daughter and Andy, and I can't wait to meet you in person, Jamin. But it's like wow, I couldn't wait. I just knew that somebody had to remember me, like that I wasn't going crazy. And that's another thing why we're talking here, guys. And we were talking before offline is we're here to share with the public that you guys are not alone. Like there's actually people out there like us that you can talk to, you know.
Right.
Mhm.
And but I felt that that clarified a lot of my doubts. It solidified the fact that I am a super soldier in a mid lab and an alien abductee. Um, However, with all that's been happening, it's becoming more and more clear that something big is going to happen because I was like on the flashback, um, with our encounters with Saturn, with our encounters with uh, the dolphins, the ocean, the waters. We are being groomed and trained for bigger things. And each super soldier or person who's mid lab, whatever, we all have a special, according to them, a, not only a connection, but we play a part
A
in
frequency.
our frequency will be playing a big part into the future of humanity. That's
Mhm.
what I was taught and
Mhm.
shown that it's going to happen. And the thing is, a lot of people are sleepers. And the scary thing is they're not aware of what's going to happen. But those who are breaking out are exposing a lot of information. We all got pieces of the puzzle. And
Then do you think, I have a question. Do you guys think that there's going to be a lot more sleepers waking up to know that they
yeah,
are super soldiers? Or do you think, because I heard someone tell me about 3 months ago, he said, I was told by the Galactic, Federation, which I don't want to talk about them because,
yeah,
they're compromised too. He said, I don't think anybody else is going to wake up, Vero. And I'm like, that sounded totally wrong in my heart. I mean, there's people waking up every day, left and right.
absolutely. And here's a part that I want to get out is that whoever's watching this video of this interview, I hope they recognize my sister or myself or yourself, recognize our faces in their flashbacks. Or because I have been running in with a lot of flashbacks of individuals, but I can't, they're out there, but I don't have the connection to see their faces. Like on Facebook, if I was to know, if I was to find a person in Facebook that I had in my flashback, I would recognize that person.
Right.
But the fact that we're far in between, like scattered, they probably don't know that they, you know, um, are having are super soldiers or whatever. Some
Or
of them
just
are still
being
sleeping.
different.
Yeah. So I'm hoping somebody be out there say, "Hey, I recognize this guy. I recognize her."
I was told that a lot of times too.
Yeah.
Hey, you look familiar to me. I'm like, it's just
Yeah.
something that
I,
people just look at, and some people do stare twice, thinking, "What is wrong? Is something wrong with me?" But realizing they probably say, "Man, she looks familiar." I wonder if that's probably why they look at us differently. Like a lot when I go to the stores, I would see a lot of people just stare at me twice or just looking at me. I'm like, really, my brother was talking about faces. I do get flashbacks of people's faces. I don't know why, but that's
yeah.
something that's maybe a regressing memory I'm getting. Um, to that point. I don't know. I just feel like everything is coming to play because if we talked about early how the conspiracies, what's going on right now, the government, the presidents, and I know something is going to reveal itself. And I think this is a time we're awakening now. I think this is the sign maybe why we're communicating now to let people know it is really true. If they can believe something from the government or the president, whatever it may be, it's letting you know it's the truth. And people's like, wow, that I'm not crazy. This is really happening to me. But even talking about this among us ourselves, it's going to help other people too. And I think this is a sign of this 2021 is a sign of that awakening. And I realize now, firmly believe what's really happening to us is true. And for my abilities, psychic abilities, sometimes I get not panic attack, but psychic attacks or I get
Oh, yeah.
warned if I say something. Like I was doing a book of the Black Eyed Kids. The Black Eyed Kids were basically supposed to be a paranormal, phenomenal things happening. Even I was warned not to even write a book about them. That's something maybe it could be an extraterrestrial beings that we don't know about. They're very negative beings. And I was going to write a book about it, and all of a sudden I got warned about it. So
How
that's
did you
something
get
that,
warned, Sylvia?
huh?
How did you get warned?
What did you say? I can't hear you. What did you say?
How did they warn you to stop writing?
Oh, I'm sorry, I didn't hear you very good. Basically, I was going to write a book about him one morning, and I saw something in the hallway, and it was very, it was a cloak, but I knew it was an alien cloak. It was
Mhm.
something that it was letting me know, don't do it. And every time I tried to do it, there was something happening to me with that.
Mm.
So it was just communicating with me on that level. I mean, I told that to my brother, and I just think that the Black Eyed Kids are part of another extraterrestrial beings that they're very negative. And but that was a warning for me. And even in my dreams and even in reality, they were not leaving me alone, so I did not do it. So I
I
felt there was an extraterrestrial, gray, or someone letting me know, don't do it.
Yeah, I remember that I went to go visit you, and I think it was like a couple weeks later or so, you were telling me that you were having like problems with your ear, and you think that
Mm.
either they implanted you with a new implant or something, and you were just having a hard time there.
I was really scared. I remember my ear was itching, and I'm like, okay. And it was hurting me as I thought it was just like maybe a zit growing out. All your zits go everywhere in your body. I'm like, okay, it's fine. It could be a black, it could be a zit, whatever it may be. But actually, it was getting worse. And then all of a sudden, I would hear not like a ringing sound. It was more like the ship, because I remember what alien ships sound like, because
Oh yeah.
I experienced that, and it was in that sound frequency. It
Hmm.
was in my ear, and I think it was in my right ear. And I noticed this. This is what I realized. Every time I talk about something like this, like we're discussing now, the humming sounds will vibrate louder. And I feel like they're using their ship. This is what I'm thinking. They're using their ship to hear my conversations, and that's
They
tapping
do.
into my conversations.
They do. And when I'm trying to go to sleep, I mean, I still wear my beanie hat, the
Mm-hmm.
one, the
Oh yeah,
anti-Wi-Fi thing, and I still hear them either in my right or my left, and they'll be like, "Ee," like really, really high sounds. And
frequency sound. Yeah,
yeah, they're scanning you. They're scanning your body temperature. They're scanning you to see, and what
your
I
move.
say is, I do not consent. I say it out loud, and I say, I return to sender with consciousness attached. You are not allowed to scan me and go away, basically. I'll say my mantras. I do
Oh,
not
okay.
consent to this, because if you stay quiet and you don't say out loud, I do not consent, even to memes, even to the stupid memes or commercials, like on Pandora, like I'm working out, I like to listen to Pandora, and I'll be like, I do not consent, and then I like, get out of the application, then go back in so I can play it again. Because see, guys, and you all know this, they're always looking for ways to program people.
Yes.
That's why there's so much division right now on Earth.
And now,
It's
and basically, they don't want us to be happy. So when I was in a happier position, that moment, I'm happy. It gets really loud, and I got so scared, because this is something new that's been happening. But you know what? Actually, it's gone away now, thank goodness. But it's an implant. I usually get in my nose. I get a sore or an itchy part of my nose, and it really, really hurts. I can't even touch it. Or in
Mhm.
my ear, which is a new thing I never experienced in my life. But it's in my ear. But you know what, though? It's gone. That's why I'm a little bit more in my I'm trying to change because they want me to be miserable. And I
Mhm.
think that's what the frequency is about, our moods. If we're happy or we're sad, because I noticed that that's happened to me when having that in my ear.
And yeah, I noticed the implants in my nose. I just got rid of one like last week. They'll be like a double freaking pimple. And then I keep putting alcohol with Q-tip in my nostrils just to get rid of them. But it's like, man, It's like when they can't bother you, when they can't hurt you, when they can't, kill you anymore, because they tried so many times. They try with their stupid implant thingies, zapping them or whatever, just to make you all
And
upset.
it was crazy because when I took one out of my nose, you know what I realized? It wasn't anything on the nose, our body. It was like a little black, shiny little object. And I saw it. I'm like, that's not a zit or anything.
Yeah.
It was really a black object of a little shiny little thing. And I didn't know it was an implant.
Mm-hmm. True.
That's just really crazy.
So
And go ahead.
I'm thinking we're gonna go on break. If Katie wants to put up that picture real quick of how we are abducted and how they work on us in the labs in the underground bases. If you don't mind, Katie, putting that up. And any other questions that the audience may have. Also, if we can give out the call-in number so we can take a like 5-minute break, I guess, something like that.
Okay.
I think it's like 3 or 5 minutes, something like that.
It's about that.
Okay.
But
Good.
Katie, are you there?
I'm here.
Yay! Thank you, Mama. We'll be back to talk about. We'll talk about Saturn, the jump rooms. We can talk about artificial intelligence. We can talk about whatever you guys want to talk about. Okay.
Okay.
Okay. See you in a. Thank you.
I don't wanna die alone. I don't wanna live forsaken. I refuse to let this go because my soul is breaking. I don't wanna let you know that my heart is just so jaded. I refuse to let it show. I refuse to let it go. Wake me up when this is over. I'm tired of living life like it's a dream. Please wake me up when it's all over. I'm tired of living right here in between. I refuse.
Guys,
Hello.
we're back. Let me just go inside. I was outside. We're live again. Oh my gosh. So, Veronica, go ahead and take it away with Saturn. How you got through the jump room, and then I'll go and talk about the notes, please, while I settle myself. Thank you.
Let there be light. There is light. No. Well, my flashback with Saturn is fantastic. Actually, I never thought that something of that sort ever would happen to me. My experience. The flashback I had was I remember we were. I don't remember how we got there. I'll be honest. I remember we were shooted up. We had these lights, and there were, I would probably guess, engaging. Probably there were probably 6 of us because we were in this underground place, and one of the guys who I don't know, as part of our group, mentioned we got to be quiet. We have to gather these materials. And I don't know why he was stated that. And one of them, another individual in the suit, because remember we were all suited up. One of them said, "Yeah, because we don't want these gnarly spiders to mess with us. We don't got time for this." I don't know what that implied, but I later discovered as I was trying to find out spiders. What are you talking about, spiders? But we had to be quiet. That's all I remember one of the guys saying, because we had to get these materials. This material was, to me, from what I was able to see, was a kind of like a glow in the dark, kind of like a translucent, like the best description I can put it. If you ever looked at that movie, Pitch Black, was that movie was named that Vin Diesel. During the night they had these little creatures that glow in the dark.
You mean the nanites?
Nanites, kind of like things, but there was this material that kind of light up the area a little bit.
It's the movie is Bloodshot, right? Bloodshot.
Pitch Black.
Oh, the movie is Pitch Black. Oh, because I just remember when they lay him on the table, Katie, if you don't mind putting that picture where they have the female there laying on the table, or the guy, doesn't matter, but they have, they put him in there, and they take his consciousness and all that, and then they use the nanites for the blood.
Oh, right, yeah.
And the nanites were kind of like glow in the dark, and they also use them to self-destruct other super soldiers. So
right. We were there.
Wonder what it was.
Yeah, we were there to gather this material type, and get as much as we can and get out. And we had, some of us, we had like swords.
Oh yeah, 2 of them
weapons.
right here.
Yeah, and we had a sidearm, really weird looking sidearm, never seen before, but we had them anyway, just in case. Instead of having to get close in combat, we had a distance as well. Well, we gathered these things, and I was in the front, and I heard one of the men, or one of the team, says, "I think they're coming." Oh my God, I think they're coming. So
the spiders?
The spiders, whatever that.
Oh, I can't stand them things.
But we were told to hurry up, so our feet was shuffling really fast through these crevices, and we believe we saw an opening, and we were instructed to get out, and we could be teleported or beamed or whatever you want to call it, to get out of planet. We just needed to gather these materials because the thing inside this place, we were unable to go out of it, like leave, like Star Trek. You know how it is when you like beat me up, you can't, because there's a lot of interference with the materials or components in the cave, crystallized and stuff, that we were unable to. It causes too much friction for us to leave. anywhere else. But we managed to get we managed to get in there first. I mean, not in, but we managed to get out first. Then we could hear sounds from the back behind us. We know they were coming. However, how I looked out, and the very first thing that appeared in my face was a Saturn-looking object in the sky. It was overwhelming for me because I never seen something. Oh my God, what the heck is this? It's a Saturn, you know? That's like, and they said, enough chatter, let's get out of here, you know? And I blacked out. I didn't stick around. I just remember getting out, look in the sky, big Saturn right there. Like, I thought it was going to come and collide. I thought we were going to die. I mean, it's how close up it was. And I thought, oh my God, Saturn? And one of the guys says, shush, you know, let's get this thing, get out of here. And I blacked out. I don't know how we got in, but I knew that we had to get out. And we got out. And I don't know how we got out. It was just a tiny flashback frame. And it made me upset because I wanted to know what planet or moon or whatever it was we were in. I wanted to know how we got in, and I wanted to know what happened when we got out. I was not privy to any of that, just a short flashback. But the big one that impacted the event was it was a Saturn in the sky. Ring, just wow. And I woke up from that shortly after. Not much to be said, unfortunately, but I just know that the spiders were in that vicinity, in that cave, and they were coming. They must have heard us. It was getting louder, and I remember the sound it was making was getting louder, and we just managed to get out in time.
Yeah, it's only like a nanosecond that we have to get
Yeah.
out. Get in, get out.
Yeah.
And it has to be timed right because we don't want to be placed like, I don't know, like start all over again when you're 3 years old or whatever. So it's all mathematical.
Yeah,
But,
it's wild.
or quantum physics, you know. But yeah, that kind of reminds me of in September I was on a bike ride with my friend, and I was looking up at the sky. We were taking a break, and before this, I had gone through this portal. Like I told him, I said, Rogelio, didn't you see that portal? He's like, what are you talking about, Vero? And it was like kind of like watery, but with frequency, like the portal. And it's in Tucson. It's over here by St. Mary's in the freeway, west of. And I was like, this is so weird. So then we were taking a break, and I'm looking up at the sky. And it's weird because over there it's in the Santa Cruz River, and there was this bunch of like mosaic things on the wall, and on the bottom it had a few green little tiny aliens. It's still there to this day. I'm like, this is weird. Okay, we decided to take a break here out of all places. I had no idea, and I mean, I even took pictures. So then I'm looking up at the sky, and I see Saturn, and it's black. It has like a pyramid, and it has Saturn and a pyramid, black pyramid. And then I come to, and I said, okay, how long was I gone? It's like, what do you mean, Beto? You're just right here. I'm like, dude, they took me. He's like, who are you talking about? He's kind of like opening up to, you know, I can talk to him about certain things, but other things he's like, I can't talk to you about that. You're weird, you know. And I'm like, that's crazy how they can take you like that. And it had to do with Saturn. Now that night, I asked my subconscious, I'm like, okay, what's going on with Saturn? I had a flashback or dream, whatever you want to call it, and I'm in the mansion. I have many, many scary dreams of being in mansions as a kid. Okay? And I was in this mansion, and then I saw the tile was all white. There were kids on my right side and on the left, a bunch of kids. Some of them were dressed in bunny rabbit suits. The other set of kids were dressed in little like tap shoes, you know, like they were gonna perform. Then there's these stairs that go oblong like that, like if you're going up like a ship, but it's Saturn. because it's circular. It's like kind of like a wong and all that. We were in the later on when I did the regression with James. When I told him James Ring, I said, "Look, dude, like let me go back in because I need to see." I was able to see the stairways. They're going this way, up, in a kind of like a concave, weird way, and there were white stairs, and we were up there, and it was Susan, James, and two other people up there. I don't know who they are right now, but we were talking, and I said, "Hey, do you guys remember when we were here?" And they're like, "Yeah," and I came to understand that. Well, first of all, I couldn't go down the attic because there was a downstairs. There was this kind of like an old ah wooden, like a shaft that goes under, and I could just hear the water trickling. And I said no. In my mind, I said I'm not going down there because that's where they tortured us as kids. So later on, I find myself here talking to them, having like something to eat, and I said, "Wow, we did it! Like we're rescuing the kids, and we transferred this mansion from evil to goodness, and there's also med beds there taking care of the kids. And so I know some children are going to be returned to earth to their parents, but some are not because their parents are, users, abusers. So I just think it was weird how all that connects if you just ask your subconscious or your higher self, or you go through a regression.
Wow.
Like we were talking earlier, we all have pieces of a bigger puzzle, and it's not until we write it down, but and it's not until we get together like this that we can share our stories and say, "Oh wow, like so
Yeah.
that's what we were doing," or "Wow, this is another thing we were doing together." you know
Also, I want to add on to something that I want to share is based upon what I have gathered about myself and my experiences. I've come to the realization that whether super soldier or mid-lap slash whatever you want to call it, that they're using me not on a physical aspect of a super soldier, but more of a mental. What I meant by that, one particular flashback I had was I was led into the parking lots that you see that has levels of parking lots. When
yeah,
cars go down and they go around and around and until they get out of this big
right,
parking lot level.
yeah.
Um, I was taken down to one of the levels and dropped.
Oh,
I was surrounded by men and women with weapons in their hands. I, it was a flashback. It was like I'm talking to you right now. It's how clear it is. I see everything very clear, high def. Everything was all good. I saw them coming and surrounding me. Men and women. Some of them were in suits. Some of them weren't. They had weapons, clubs, you name it. My first reaction was scared. Oh my God, this is not a dream. They're going to kill me. They had this look. They're going to kill me. And there was a car or a vehicle that's black, all black. A window rolled down, and he said, "Use your abilities." And he rolled the window up, and abilities. And when they're coming, one of them was going to charge and coming towards me. Then I let out a silent scream. It it was so silent. I It's like my neck expanded and my mouth widened, and I let out this silent, high pitched sound that shattered the windows, except for that black car. It had black window type thing. You can't see anything inside of it. But anyway, all the windows of the cars or parking lots were all shattered, and the individuals that were coming towards me, their heads uh, exploded, and it lowered down to normal levels, and I got scared. I was like, "Oh my God, what happened? What did I do?" And I was trembling. My hands were trembling. I was like, "Oh my God, did I just did this?" And the the black car, the door on the back opened and said, "Get in." And I says, "What?" She said, "Get in," really loud. And I said, "Yes, sir." Like scared. I said, "Yes." And I got in, and the inside of the car was black, and I couldn't see the man in there, but he had a suit on. Um, it was like I couldn't see, like it was like a glass inside the car that did not allow me to see the man's face for some reason, or I just barely could make out a shape. It was really weird, and I woke up from that flashback thinking, what the heck just happened? And I wasn't like I was trying to figure out, you know, what was going on. And I later discovered that a second time it had occurred again, but it was military and men in suits. They wanted to see how I would perform outside, uh, like how far my abilities would stretch. And they were at a distance, and I had a green light to experiment with look like fruits on top of these stands. I couldn't make it. I didn't understand what they want me to do, and they said do it like you did before, and I didn't understand it, and they shocked me, and I remember that every time I didn't understand, I get a shock. So it's like a hard lesson. So I think I knew what they wanted me to do, scream. So I said, okay, I think I know what you want me to do, and I did it again, and it stretched for as far as I could see, as far as my abilities allow it to be, and they were very pleased with the results. So it was like twice that happened. And the third time was the military wanted me to use my mind or my psychic abilities to control top military vehicles that are airborne, like in the air, like airplanes, to control it from the ground up, you know. And I just
Flight patterns?
yeah, like I was able to shoot the targets. This airplane was remote, had weaponry, whatever. It was guided by my psychic ability, my
That is
mental
cool.
control.
Yep.
Yeah, so it was mental, and I was able to engage it uh in all
But
weird positions,
mhm.
not like
You,
up and down.
I thought I saw. Is somebody calling, Katie? Do we
Yeah,
have a caller?
my brother's calling you. I didn't want to interrupt.
Yay!
Oh, I
Yeah,
thought.
Andrew, come on down.
the,
Where is he?
he's trying to call.
Oh,
He's coming in.
I wonder if he could do the Zoom link. If not, have him call in.
I think I helped him with it. So, honey, get Andy real quick, please.
Yeah, if not, can he share like with you, like with your phone? Or...
Yeah, he was trying to get a hold of. So I didn't want to interrupt my brothers. I didn't want to be rude.
oh, I'm sorry.
He is
No,
in.
it's
He needs
okay.
to. He is
So,
in,
yeah.
but he needs to connect the audio.
Okay,
Audio.
he needs to come over here. Andy, come here.
Yeah, Jamin, it's so cool. Like we are able to communicate telepathically with, AI because
Yeah,
they injected the black goo in us,
yeah,
So I think
that's
that's cool.
interesting. So that led me to believe this more of my
you
ability more up in the brain, and the
Mhm.
psychic ability type than the physical type.
Mhm.
But again, don't get me wrong, I can use weaponry and all that as
Oh yeah.
part of my flashbacks were concerned. However, recently they want me to focus on the mental part.
Say hello.
Well,
Hi,
Andrew,
Andres.
I got you.
you're
Hi,
pretty
are
good.
you want to come in and talk to us a little bit?
Be in the room. Be in the room.
There's like an echo, so one of you guys needs to mute.
Let me put in my room. Maybe we'll put the echo. Hold on. We're in the same space.
He
Yeah,
just got
Andy
in
would.
from work actually, so
Oh wow. Yeah,
yeah.
he can if he wants to come in, that's great. I mean, I just wanted him to talk a little bit about like how, he has this arm like I do. Mine's on the left side. I think his is on the right, the mechanical
Yeah,
um the from Kruger,
I know, right?
I wanted him to like to say that, what happened to him, how he found out about that the next day or whatever. If he has time. I mean, I know if you just got there, we'll be done at about maybe 9:15 latest, so you can hop on anytime.
I think he's trying to get in now. I hear him saying hello.
Are you there? Andrew? Andres?
Or maybe he didn't do the audio. Let me help. Andy, get over real
Aló,
quick.
Hi, Stas? Are
ayun,
you there?
Casi a phone.
ayun,
I don't know.
I see a phone symbol.
Yeah, I did too. Hold on.
hello, can you hear me?
Yeah, we can hear you, but who's this?
This is Lemaro.
Oh, Lamaro, we have another caller, Katie.
Oh
Hello,
no.
Lamaro.
Oh, I'm sorry, I didn't know I'm the wrong caller. I'll call again.
Oh,
Thank
it's
you.
okay.
There's somebody else.
Welcome to the show. Did you have a question?
They left.
Oh, okay.
Oh, I didn't know they.
That voice sounded familiar, though.
Hey, Veronica. It'd be
Yes.
nice. I would have liked to see if the viewers would like to have question and answers.
Yeah,
ask.
definitely.
That'd be nice.
I'd like to hear from the audience, the
Me
viewers.
too.
I mean, I got so much to share. It's just so hard to put it all into proper wording because it's crazy, just it's all
It's
over.
Yeah, it is.
There's a lot of information I would like to cover, but getting with Sylvia and I and Andy, we have we have this under my control super soldier type that they're using as they're grooming us, and they're using our psychic abilities for their purposes, and it's destructive, and it's for a purpose, their purpose. And again, we're not the only ones. There are other individuals that have been going through this process as we were going through it, using our abilities for offensive and defensive. But as the super soldiers, there's some of us are being put organic implants.
Yep.
And some are receiving metallic implants. The organic part is it's like a battery in a car. It's a juice that our brains, especially our brains, is the most toughest muscle in our bodies, and it contains a lot of electric charges. And there's organic when it's placed in the brain. When the electronic charges in our brain activates it, it hits it with high voltage. Because our brain is an active thing that keeps our bodies and ourself alive. So this implants work as a conduit with it, like a battery in a car, and it provides it enhances our abilities. It provides a lot of different abilities that it increases. For example, if I want to move an object by having this organic implant, not only am I able to move this object, but I can levitate it and crush it. I can do a variety of upgrades to that ability.
Now, the thing of it is, though, we come in with all these abilities, and we really don't need implants to do that.
That is correct.
Now,
And
why do you think that they would? I mean, I know the answer, but I want your. Why do you think they do that if we already don't need the implants to control us, or what?
Control, and also enhance our current abilities. It's like a jump start, like I say, a battery. We have our abilities, but with the implants, organic or metallic, or vice versa, it enhances and it makes our abilities much more potent and much more efficient. in a higher stage, you know, than
They don't
what
want us
we do
to like,
without it.
yeah, they don't want us to really use our abilities, because can you imagine us having these abilities now, how it's going to really change the world, like superheroes. And so they're like villains. They don't want us to contract our own abilities because they keep us on hold for their agenda, not ours.
Yeah, they
So can you
want.
imagine if we're just being with these abilities with powers, how we're going to be, as you said, Veronica, the X-Men. We're going to be the saving of the day of people,
Yeah.
but they do it out of their own agenda. And as my brother was saying, our brains are just it's a powerful, unique muscle in our bodies, and that's where they play the most in, and it affects our moods too. It affects my mood, it affects my brother's mood, because they want us to have this low frequency and not enhance our frequencies. So this is why our moods have changed. And my brother was actually mentioning black goo. That's something we have in our bodies that change. It basically makes us feel like we have a lot of it affects our emotions. It affects our being normal
I'm
people,
still,
because
yeah,
I
I'm still
notice
very
sometimes,
angry.
yes. And I notice sometimes too, I don't have feelings with things that
Right.
normal people would have feelings for.
Right.
Not to be cynical or mean or just being, it's just how they put us in that perspective play. I could see, as I told you, I can see someone getting hurt. I would just kind of like, okay, with no emotion. But you know what? Deep in my heart, I feel sorry. But it's just our feelings have just been kind of closed in,
Mhm.
and it just affect our moods and our feelings towards anything that's supposed to be a normal thing to have. It's kind of hard to relate to that feeling. It's just really drama. It's really sad to say, but it's affected my moods badly.
Oh yeah.
I can hug a family member. You could feel the warmth of a family member you love, whatever, and you don't feel anything. And they have taken a lot of our instant and our personal feelings away from us because of this mind control set mind. And I think the
Well,
black
they took
goo.
our innocence, like you said, away just with the sexual programming.
Yeah.
We've all been molested and raped in this group that I know of, and it's
Hmm.
sad because some of them were by my family members, and they don't care. It's like a normal thing to them, and then you wake up and everything, and you're older. Like me, when I was washing dishes one day, I was 33 years old, the number 33, and washing dishes, looking outside my window, and I'm like, holy fuck, I was molested by so and so in my family. And I'm like, what?
And they
I
molest us
got
too.
so depressed for months because I'm like, well, I can't tell my mom. I finally told her like a year ago, and she just stared at me
Hmm.
like, what? Are you sure? She's,
I know it's crazy. And you know what? We're victims of being dramatized even with them as sex slaves.
yes.
Like I remember this one incident. I don't know. It played in my mind so clearly. I remembered in I guess my best memory. I was dancing in front of these powerful men in big seats that they had, and I feel
Mhm.
like I was in a dark dorm, but there were men around me, and they were very powerful. I know they were very powerful men. I remember I would dance for them, and like a strip dance, whatever they perform, what I performed in. But the craziest thing is, I remember that in my head so clearly. All of a sudden in Facebook, there was a picture of the same memory I had in my brain. The same thing was on Facebook picture of these men sitting on these big chairs and a woman dancing for them. And this is way before I even like, oh my God, this is really happening to me. I
Yeah.
see someone come in.
Hello, caller, going
Hello?
once. Anybody there?
No, it's just Andrew.
Oh, hola, Andrew.
Hello, can you hear me?
Yes, we can hear you.
Oh, I thought I was still out.
We can't see you though.
In the dark.
Open the camera.
Yeah, I was
Put the light on the room.
I was texting my cousin here and I messed up my buttons. Hold on.
Okay.
Put the light in your room.
Oh, talking about darkness, huh?
We
That
need
could be
to
right.
see your beautiful face.
Oh,
There
oh,
you
let me
are. Hola.
let me go check with Sophie. She knows more about this phone than I do, actually. That's my first time in Zoom, so I'm not familiar with it.
Andy.
That could
Well,
be
I see
right.
you, so I
There
don't
was
see my
like.
phone. Is this right?
Yeah, you're good. Oh,
How was
I'll
work?
take you off. Take me off there.
How did I do that? Oh, Sophie's really good phone tonight.
Oh wow, there you go, Drew.
Hey, I got a free group here. All right.
Yay.
I'm going to my room and see if the echo stops. Hold on.
Well, actually, Sylvia can mute herself when you're talking.
Oh, okay. Well, I'm in my room either way.
Okay.
I'll keep
Thanks
quiet.
for joining us.
Yeah, I'm having issues with my phone. No, that's not
I'm
you guys.
sorry.
It's okay.
How was work?
Tiresome. Did patrols. Yeah, left early this morning until 6:30 when I got home this evening. So I'm kind of like worn out. But you know how security works. I always call you when they need you. Spend time with them. So yeah.
And you're one to say yes all the time, right?
Yeah.
You're like, why not? But yeah, I remember you know, Andy was telling me about his arm. You want to tell people about like your experience, how you woke up to it, like what the heck? You know, you were asking me, is that part of the Kruger program, whatever you want to talk about, because it's
I
your
wasn't
turn.
even aware that my arm was a weapon until you helped me on that. Because sometimes when I lean on it or rest on my arm, whatever, it pops. Like it doesn't hurt, but it's not like a bone pop. It's like a harsher type of pop. You know, like when you pop your bone, but it's not a bone. But I had somebody who was a psychic in the past, a few years ago. I don't know who she is, but she said something about to have my right arm checked. It was something there, but she couldn't explain it to me what it was about until you mentioned it. You know, when you visited us last time.
Yeah.
So I wasn't aware I had a weapon in my arm actually. I know I had a lot of implants in my nose and my ear and in my back also. So, but I wasn't aware about it being a super soldier until Jamin helped me out through the years. I'm explaining that more about what was going on with me. Because I know one experience was when I was living with my nephew Jonathan, which he's also a super soldier. An apartment we stayed at, but every time we went out, we had groups of people keep looking at us, and I also said, Jonathan, what the hell was looking at us, you know? And find out later after I realized I was a super soldier that stopped. So I don't know if they were watchers or there was people just keeping an eye on us or something like that. Just weird stuff in my life that couldn't get a better explanation about it. Just didn't understand what it was. Until Jamin helped out. He's the one that brought to the light about my situation years ago when he lived with me. Kent, what else do you want to know? I don't remember.
I wanted you to tell them, because you know you can't explain the big bone that you have here in the arm.
Yeah.
And yeah.
Right.
And then that part where you kind of like messed up a chair in the car, like, and then Sylvia or somebody said, how'd you do that? You know, you're straight.
Oh, you mean my Ford Focus. But you know how the cars are like made of iron and coils and cushions, everything inside, you know. And I was something fell in the back, and I got out of the car and went back to get on the back seat of the driver's side to, you know, how you look down to get something under the seat. And I bent that the whole driver's front seat all the way down like it was nothing. And it was I wish I had a picture of it taken up, but I didn't get a picture of it. But it was like cutting butter. It was so easy to just bend straight down. And I didn't know, because you know how the seats are hard to bend because you know what's inside of it. And I wasn't paying attention. I was looking in, and I just brought it all the way down with my left arm. And I thought my left arm was my weak arm, which it technically is. But for me to do that without even consciously aware of it, I just did it. So just kind of weird stuff in my life like that couldn't happen by normal chance. You know what I mean? For something, especially something like the car, you know. Certain abilities. Sometimes I go to stores, things fly around, or, you know, like pop out of the shelves. I'm not talking about like light stuff like marshmallows, whatever. I'm talking about like bags of rice, you know, like heavy bags a little bit that only you can pick it up to drop something, but it just falls off near me sometimes. Like telekinesis, but I always thought maybe it was ghosts or something, but so he said it could be my abilities also that can, you know, take things out of the shelves.
Yeah, like
So it's happened a few times actually. Yeah, this happened more than once. So, and sometimes I go under lights or driving through the lights in the street at night, and it flickers all the way through when I drive through it. Like it's like I'm flickering the lights off while the cars pass by, nothing happened. So, you know, it's kind of weird. Just strange things like that I don't know too much about my experience, but I know little fragments of it. I guess I got so much activity in my daily life, I'm just not focusing. but I know there's a lot of things, probably horrifying things that maybe I should know. That happened to me. Just like what Jamin was explaining about his situation in Sylvia. So who knows what I've been through. I know it wasn't that great either. Like military base, hauling children into the base. A lot of stuff like that that wasn't good through my eyes of my alternate self, wherever that was. So a lot of strange things, that I know I was born in '69, so that probably made me, I don't know, third generation or fourth generation super soldier. But as you were talking about the implants, yeah, like you're wondering why we have implants, but that we don't need it. But like Jim said, it could be an enhancement to upgrade us in a certain level. That enhancement is required, or a chip is whatever needs to be required to do it. So that's a possibility about that,
Mm-hmm.
Since I'm an older generation of I was born in '69, and I know the first generation.
I think we're second generation because I asked Penny Bradley. She's first generation,
Uh-huh.
and I was born in 1971, and she said I'm second generation. So you and I are probably second generation.
Possibility. I know the first super soldier was used on the soldiers back in during the Vietnam War in the late '60s.
Yeah.
They were the first generation super soldiers. They were not fully upgraded because they were still experimenting on people on that, but they were used during the Vietnam War. The people that were in the war in Vietnam in the mid '60s, and then of course I was born in '69, so that can make us a second generation. That's about right, because the first generation I think was back in the mid '60s. The soldiers in the Vietnam War, what I've gathered. So I think you and I are second generation.
Yeah.
So Sylvia might be a third or a third and a half. I don't know if there's a half, but
yeah.
Between 34 and Jamin is probably like fourth, since he was born in the late '70s. I'm not sure how the levels is on the generation, but yeah, you might be right. I think both of us are second generations of that. So
one thing that I wanted to clarify with the audience too is there's a rumor going around out there that they're saying that the kids now that they're using as super soldiers, that they're not being hurt or anything like that and abused. Well, guess what? They still are. And we a bunch of us here, even though they had used us before to abduct children and to take them, now because we're awakened, because we actually failed their Omega project. The Omega project is actually a I guess you can call it a kill switch that they place in us super soldiers to self-destruct, to commit suicide before we awaken. And so now we're very dangerous to them. And like, I know you guys are always being, watched and followed. But the thing of it is, and I know somebody's asking this question, is like, well, how do you live? How do you do it? Well, you live fearlessly, and you know who you are. You become to your own power. You understand you're sovereign, and that you are actually helping, when you go to sleep, or even during the day when you're being taken or whatever, because you don't necessarily have to be asleep to be taken, that we're actually helping, that we are saving the kids, that we are doing everything in our power to like Sylvia was saying, this is not a conspiracy theory. This shit is real, you guys.
Oh yeah, yeah, exactly. I heard the previous conversation you had with Jamie and Sylvia about people being awakened. Well, another possibility where a lot of people are awakening is not only through maybe questions that they have among themselves, or somehow they research themselves about remembering people, like Jamie was talking about, but also the frequency that's changing on our Earth, that's lifting people up in a higher dimensional, where everything that's being kept secret is being opened in their minds, and they become more self-aware. Besides things you guys discussed, but the higher dimensional we go to, fourth and fifth, whatever, all that super soldier, whatever, that's required three-dimensional technology like chips and all, will become more open to more people, where the lives will no longer will be kept secret. So that's a possibility. A lot of people are being awakened by that. That's another, I don't know if you want to call theory, but that's another part of what we're going through in the cosmos.
No, it's true, because the poles have been shifting with Mother Earth, and she won't stand for baloney, like I always like to say. Like from that movie Weird Science. Speaking of super soldiers, remember that girl that they had placed in the slab and then they made her into a human? I mean, come on, it was a disclosure even back in the day when we were growing up. MTV, all this stuff.
And
what was it, John?
There's something I want to throw in. that I just recently discovered is that those who have been putting implants in me or putting things in me, they're now aware that I know about them. Matter of fact, they have been open about it to me. One of the gentlemen that was part that went into my room, there was several men and women, and one of the men says, "It's going to be okay, partner." And I was awake, and he knew it, and they were they sounded to be more concerned about how I felt. So they seemed to be like, "It's going to be okay." He called me partner, like, "It's going to be okay, partner," that with an accent. And he tapped me in the shoulders, and they put stuff into my brain. And one thing he said, that this device or this object that was planted in my brain, it had to do something, and I do not know for the life of me what it's for or why they did it to me anyways, but it had to involve China. This device was implanted into me, and it had to do something with China, that they were going to use me for a particular mission involving China. I don't know for the life of me when it's going to take place or why it's taking place, what's going on. But after hearing the news about China and the United States, today, um,
Well,
this
what
is
happened? Because
before, this is,
I don't listen to the news, and I know about
yeah,
China. Believe me, all their artificial intelligence, all their drones are here. Sometimes you've seen it. Like, I've been told that there was this thing, like a spaceship coming down and depositing things on Earth. Well, those are the drones that people can't really see, but you can sense
yeah,
them unless you take pictures of them. They're in the trees. They're outside everywhere.
yeah.
So,
So,
yeah, it
uh,
has to probably do something with that. But go ahead and tell
it,
me what happened.
and I think it's because um, my based upon, because this is before Donald Trump was out of office. This is during Trump's being in as president. Um, when they were talking to me about China and this device that they were setting in for me, but putting it into me, it to me, from what I was limited in information, what I was able to gather and put as a probability is that I could be put in a mission that involves China in a big way, because they say this is going to be important. So they put that into me, this device or this thing, and I felt it, and I, like, I don't know, and I can't explain it, but I was aware, and they know I was aware, and they give me a brief information about it. And the only thing I was able to gather was China in mission. So I kind of put that together, that it's a possibility that my future missions or what they're going to do to me is going to involve China. Now, I'm not the only one. I'm not trying to say I'm the only guy, but I'm just what they told me while I was in the room. uh, that's that's the information I was able to understand from what they said to me, and a lot of it didn't make sense, because I was thinking about China and not thinking about what they were talking about. But I was able to just shut up and listen to more of what they had to say. But they didn't provide too much afterwards, so I kind of put myself in the dark in that way. But I think what is going to happen is something big is going to play out, and this year probably. And I think super soldiers are going to be used, perhaps, in this events that are going to be taking place this year.
Yeah.
And like future, like past major events, super soldiers were definitely used.
Yeah.
And a lot of them, as you know, like Sandy Hook, these big events that they say, oh, there's a crazy lone gunman, we captured him, and so a lot of these people were programmed, mind controlled to do
Right.
these things. So again, I do not know to what level I'm going to be used, but I have a bad feeling it's not good. But I'm just trying to make sense of the chaos of the flashbacks, the visitations, the what they're trying to do to us is just not good. Never a positive leap forward. It's more to me, I view it as a leap backward because it's only to fit their agenda and not the agenda of mankind. And and they invested millions of dollars in us.
Yeah,
We're
they have.
talking millions as super soldiers individually with the equipment, with the technology, with everything they've been using on us. There's been into the millions, and they're not going to jeopardize it by doing something that's going to affect all of us. They're trying to create chaos little at a time, in all parts of the world using us. But I hope I'm making sense. I'm trying to make sense out of the chaos that's been presented to me. But again, I'm only a small piece of the puzzle. I don't have all the information. I'm trying to understand it all. And like Andy's trying to understand his situation, like yours trying to understand your situation. We're all trying to figure out what's going on, the bigger picture. But we have to first dissect it and say, this is my part of my story, and this is your part. Let's see what we can make it into a puzzle to figure pieces together and see what this is about. But everybody's got a different story and puzzles to it. We need more people. We need more super soldiers to come out and say, here, I am a super soldier, and here's my story. Here's my puzzle. Here's part of something that I hope that can help someone else. And we're growing. We're actually growing in number, and that's good. More interviews of this kind of sort helps open up doors to possibilities and
with China, I know that I remote viewed the dumps under there. I know that I've been active in saving the children there. And I know that in China, they still have the kids, that they have. I see them on the bases. I see them in like, there's tons and tons of kids and underground. And I see them with their arms, like being the blood just being taken out from them. And it makes me mad.
Yeah.
And it's like even the family member said, well, kids have always been taken even when we were kids. And I'm like, really? So you don't care you don't care? Like, just because it's always happened, that doesn't mean that it's right. And that's what makes me mad.
I agree.
And
Yeah, I was reading an article here in Tucson a few years ago that over 3,000 children are missing a year in Tucson, Alabama, which is kind of a lot for it not to be out in, investigation on it.
Yeah, I'm glad you brought that up, Andy.
I mean, it could be more now, but it just so not just the Tucson city alone. I mean, could you imagine New York City, California?
We're so close to the border.
Yeah, I mean, that's including adults too that are found missing. But I mean, just children alone, that's just horrific. To have so many kidnappers of children that much just sounds kind of strange. And I'm not saying it doesn't happen, but that's pretty a lot of people if that was the case. It's like coordinated or something. So
it is coordinated, and so not all officers are good. Not all social workers are good. The Vatican. About the Vatican. They're all in it together. So you got to be very careful, like who you trust, because you don't ever know. Like, you report something to an officer, they're just gonna look at you and say you're crazy, because maybe they're in on it too. They'll take the kids for social services. I used to work for a place called La Tricunda when I was in between lateraling over from one police department to another, and I had to take kids away from families, and it hurt my heart. I mean, it's like, I think about it now and I'm like, what what if those kids were supposed to stay with parents, or you know, what if it was an underground thing going on? You know, it kind of bothers my mind. Like, I don't
Well,
know,
as
man.
a child, when I was little, I almost got kidnapped. That was me and my sister walking from school, and I would see this, and you know it's so strange, but that car, I remembered, that car was brown, like the one that was in my mission, and it was a big long, what I forgot, Monte Carlo card, I think it was. And I remember walking with my sister to school. I mean, home from school. We're walking home, and this car, Monte Carlo, came driving really, really slow behind us. And I heard these men like, "Come on, get him!" And I know there were four men, but you know what? The craziest thing is, I wasn't a fast runner, but somehow we made it so like fast to the house, like it was in seconds. And I don't know if that was my like something, because I'm not. I was a chiquita. I was little. I mean, I was just running, but these men were gonna take us, me and my sister, and I just remembered that. But I was almost getting kidnapped 2 or 3 times in my life. My sister also, but it was crazy because I was not a fast runner, and I did run so fast. Like I don't know how I ran, but I made it home safely. But that's understandable what's going on, because who knows, those men were going to use me for something like that, underground something, or whatever it was used for. But they knew, you know the you know they knew they were going to use me for something. But I made it home, and I'm glad, because that would have been devastating. But I understand that kidnapping is really bad, and that's why I'm so protective of my daughter. The craziest thing is my mom would be so protective over me when I was in my 20s. She didn't let me alone, even walking to the store. She let my dad walk with me, but I think she knew something that was crazy. She knew something was wrong, wasn't right about what's going on in with me. But that was a strange event. Like it's into my mind. I still remember it like it was yesterday. So it was scary.
We have to be careful too, because they will use energies for us to feel really depressed, especially
Yes, they
when we
have.
go through divorce. And this is the second time only that I'm gonna say this story, and it's taken me a long time for me to not feel ashamed, because it's not my fault.
That is it.
So, I was with some friends. I was feeling really depressed. I had already been divorced for a couple months, and I met a friend at the Buffalo Wild Wings, and he was a friend from high school. Hey, why don't we just go hang out? My brother's coming in from out of town, and we're gonna get together. Another friend's gonna have a party, blah blah blah. And I'm like, sure, why not? I was so depressed. I I'm like, I was not even awakened yet. They have always tried to attack me with anxiety, depression, and I always would hear kill yourself through the V2K, the voice to skull. So I'm like, well, I have nothing to lose. I already tried killing myself once and it didn't work. And I was just like, I didn't know what my mission was then. I didn't know. So we ended up in this apartment complex, and all I remember was I was in the kitchen and we were laughing, drinking. Next thing I know, I wake up and I'm on the floor. They had me in a train and they were filming me. This is real. This is not a dream. And I woke up and I started crying, and my so-called good friend, he was so scared because I started getting really mad, and I said, take me home now. Like the Hulk came out or something. And
Oh
I
wow.
don't know what they gave me. Maybe they drugged me, because they were not expecting me to wake up no time soon. So always, I don't know, just always trust your abilities. Beware of your surroundings. I would say it's the CIA is everywhere. The Sex Kitten Project. It's also for men too, not just women. They make you, because they're an authority or whatever, they make you feel like you're nothing, that you have to, like our parents, you have to obey them. And I don't know. I just wanted. I don't know who needed to hear that, guys, but
Oh, thank you for sharing, honey. That
Yeah,
it's real,
it's
guys. It's you've been
and
through it too, Sylvia, and
yes.
Jamin and
Like
Andrew.
yeah,
my experience with the
definitely.
sexual thing, I only remembered this hairy fat man doing, a position that was basically was having sex with me, but you could see flashbacks of things like really happened to you against your will, and that's something I really detest because they do this against our free will, and it makes us feel so like we were the blame. It's our fault for doing what we did. Really, my brother was telling me, Jamin, it's not our fault. And sexual abuse is a big part in their agenda. Sadly, I was addicted to sex in my 20s. And I was, I didn't understand. I know it was part of my sexual abuse, but at the same time, it's one of those things that we have we get planted into memory. And I think I'm still coping with that. That's something that I'm working hard on because I'm not ashamed I mean, I'm very open, like an open book. I will say anything how I feel, and that is one of the biggest thing they tend to put in me more than anything. um just being a victim is just the horrific memories. I feel like I'm going to be getting more flashbacks because I'm in my 40s now, but this has taken a long time in my whole life experiencing sexual abuse or anything related to that level. And Veronica, like I believe in what you're saying because things are not nothing's impossible in this world. Everybody has their own agenda and they're going to do their own thing, whether we like it or not. Especially what we're talking about, it's just not a good feeling. And that's something that, as Max would say, as we were children, they put that in our minds. We're like a what do you call it, like a honeycomb. It's a multiple personalities, because I know I have multiple personalities, and it enhanced our honeycomb to expand more of our brain, what the traumatics we went to in our lives. That's so unfair. It's taken a long time to understand this, that even though it's not my fault, but it still plays a part in me. Every day is a battle for me doing that, like.
Yeah, because we have all these personalities. I have
Yeah.
dissociative identity disorder. That's what they
Mhm.
said, and I have chronic PTSD. So, you know, I know when my altars come out. I know that I'm not going anywhere. I'm going to be in my robe and my Wi-Fi hat, and I'm not going to do shit that day. I turn off I put my phone on airplane mode. I ignore everybody, and that altar, I cannot stand her. But at the same time, I feel like maybe she's protecting me because maybe something's going to happen
That's
out there.
me too.
But you know what I mean? It's
Yeah.
pretty hard on our families too because they're
It
like,
is.
they
It's a
don't know
relationship.
how the fuck we're gonna wake up one morning. Are you gonna be Vero, my mom? Are you gonna be this bitch? Or are you gonna be the Hulk? Or are you gonna be the sad girl? Or are you gonna be the crying one? It
I'm
sucks.
normally the sad girl, and that's a title I've been using for myself. I'm always crying. I'm sad, and so I feel like that titlement is sad girl for me. And I'm usually a bubbly person, happy person. I get my days like that, then I get really down on myself. And it's just crazy how these things can change your alter personalities. I remember this one experience. It's about my alter self. One day I was with my cousin and my family. I had my own place, and something, I don't know what triggered me. It was a color. I think it was red or green. But oh my god, it was scary because my alter came out of me, and I was so like really aggressively angry. And I was like, I couldn't control my moods. I think it was a color based. And one of my cousins, or one of who was with me at the time, I can barely remember, but I do remember my alter came out of me. I was like, Sylvie, what's wrong? What's wrong? And I just could not be myself. I totally changed to that alter self of mine that I did not want to be. It was this aggressive, angry, vindictive person.
Hmm.
It took me, somehow someone helped me to like shake me out of that alter self of mine, the bad side of me. And that really scared me because I did not thought I would get out of that position of my personality. It was horrible. I remembered that. I barely remembered that, but I know that it wasn't a nice I wasn't a nice person. um so it just shows you that this is really Sometimes I always wish I could be just a normal person. I want to wake up feeling normal. I want to be happy. And every day is a challenge for me to be happy, waking up with a smile on my face. But that's something that's implanted in me all my life. I've always been a sad person. And because of the verbal and through my past relationships and family, that's always been my little bubble of sadness. And that's something it's hard for me to shrug every day. I
It's like
know
they
it's sad
expect you to be sad and with your
all the
family
time.
members, if you notice. And when you're happy or you find someone to be happy with, maybe
Yeah,
2, 3
exactly.
months, whatever, they're like, "What the fuck is wrong with you? You're supposed to be sad." They don't say it, but they will make your life miserable. They'll
They'll make
try
a way
to.
for me to be that way. They make a way to make me feel, even if I'm happy in a relationship, there's always a trigger of like my relationship's going to go bad. And I notice it
And
doesn't
that's
last
the
longer
lie
than
that
three years.
they feed. Yeah, that's the lie that they feed through the channels. Because
Exactly.
that's the programming. It's like, oh, something's gonna happen that's gonna go wrong. That's the lie that they want to feed to us. But I don't know,
It's
how
cool.
do the guys go through the same thing, Jamin and Andy?
Yeah,
With
my relationship and girlfriends, well, it's never been, what do you call it, great. It's usually their fault because I'm kind of a nice guy and everything by nature, but I never seem to have a good relationship. Either their attitude or, like Sylvia was saying, we just don't have any good luck with relationships. I don't know if it was done by design or just bad choices we make, but
Do you think it's a love bite? Because remember that they will use our
I
abilities
never
to
was
hook us up.
successful having a good relationship. I've been through a hard divorce in 2000 with my ex and allegation faults and stuff. So lost custody of my daughter for like, I mean, I was like 95% of the time I was never there for her since she's 22 now.
You keep freezing.
I mean, just things like that would prevent me from just pursuing depression. You know what I mean? You might get married and have kids and also go do it again. It's like a repeated thing. So I decided not to get married at all. And I'm 51 now, but just for that bad experience, that should never happen. So like I said, I don't know if it was done by design or it was done, bad choices we made, but just never had any finding the
Yeah,
right person.
yeah. It's weird because Andy, you froze twice while you were talking. It's kind of weird because I was wow. So I was talking about like the love bite, what they call the love bite. What they will do is they will use two people that have the same abilities or similar. Telepathic being one of them, obviously, because we're all telepathic, but just some people are so into social media, into other people's problems that they don't even want to, find out who the heck they are or anything.
Yeah.
But they will pair up people that have the same sort of abilities, and then they'll use them. You'll be madly in love for like 2 or 3 months, and then something boom triggers it, and not all of a sudden it's like, what happened? I don't want to see you. You know what I mean? Or it's your fault. So we have to be aware of the love bite and of the red flags, because I mean, have you men experienced that you're madly in love with someone and then years later you're like, I don't know how the hell I was in love with that girl, or because it's a spell, that it's kind of like the love bite is kind of a spell.
Right. Well, I like to throw something in before we continue on with this situation here we're on. I'd just like to throw in that I'm going to call them the dark powers that be.
Yes.
Could be Illuminati or whoever, people in
Right.
charge. The MK Ultra is pretty much sums it up as a whole, because they use the MK Ultra on patrol on the super soldiers. What they what's call it compartmentalize our brain. They first give us traumas. So we have in our brain, we're able to be both a psychic assassin, a sex kitten, a psychic murderer, or a physical super soldier type. They we go through traumas on these different levels. So they can install programs, install things into us that we will have various facets of different types of abilities and it could be physical, mental, or sexual. Whatever they want us to be used for, they will use us by programming us with codes or whatever you want to call it. For example, let's say that you would use me for a sexual, sex kitten, like a male sex kitten, to please either them or their clients, for me to do something to, whether it's adults or children. They would use a code to activate me to do that. Or they said, well, let's give them a assignment on mental assassin. Okay, let's give them this code, and I will perform my duties
Yes.
based upon the training under mind control of that particular control mission. So we are compartmentalized with various facets of different things under mind control. But the MK Ultra is an octopus, technical, with various types of programs and projects out there that we are given. So every super soldier is unique, I would say, because some of us belong to this particular project, some of us belong to this project for this purpose, another one is for that. So, but sometimes we would get into the same project. A super soldier, for example, let's say was like with you and I, Veronica. We were connected to this one particular project, a physical mission, dangerous mission. Then again, I could belong to this project that none of you guys belong to, and it could involve a sexual project, whether it involves men, women, or children. So whatever they have in store for each individual assignments,
Right.
we're going to do it because they want us to do it. They will control us to do it. But a lot of us are breaking out of that, and we have various flashbacks of different things, not only doing dangerous missions, but doing other types of missions, different
Right.
types of things that it affects us mentally. That's why we have PTSD, we have night terrors,
Right.
we have various problems because we had that experience in a flashback. Oh my God, did I just did that? So it's a aha moment. It's like, oh my God, I did that under flashback. It affects the person. It affects their emotions and their way of thinking. So they need to get that out and share it. That's why it's so important. We share what's been happening to us, and we try to find answers because we can't find answers on our own. We need support. We need people who would be there for us to say, Jay, I got your back. Let's talk about what's been happening and share and see what we can do to help us and strengthen us in our time of need.
Yeah, speaking of that, Sylvia helped me yesterday because yesterday I had 2 night terrors and this morning I had another one. But I had a memory where my hands were tied and my back and my feet were tied, and it was Hillary Clinton with a spoon, and she had 2 other men with her, and she said, I'm gonna kill you. I'm gonna kill you. So you need to tell me where you want it. And she was poking me everywhere. And I felt the pain in my private area, my vagina. And I felt like my body left because I didn't want to feel that pain. And I woke up here, like, what the hell happened? And now in 2017, when I woke up, I had a dream that I had Hillary Clinton in a harness, like in a ship with other people. And I was in charge of pressing the red button so that ship would go out in space and they would be self-destruct. So, and I know she's involved with the SRA, but it's like for her for her to actually have messed with me, that's terrible. That's terrible. That's
that's
like,
violating you, and
yeah.
she's trying to lower you down so much, making you feel worthless about yourself, making you feel ashamed of yourself. She's a bruja, she's a witch,
Yeah,
and
she's a bruja.
she, as my brother was saying, she has all our codes. So this is
Hillary
probably why
Yeah.
you
Clinton has
experience,
all
yeah.
of
Matter of
our
fact,
codes, all the super soldier codes.
matter of fact, Veronica, um, this is what not only what I was told by sources, but it confirmed through my flashbacks added on to that. That yes, she's a big player, a huge investment player, like an investor. She has a lot of percentage invested. She's aware of the Illuminati. She's working hand in hand. She's a bruja. She's a high level witch. She does have here in America and probably elsewhere all the super sleepers, all our codes. I have, under flashback, on numerous occasions, have not only conversed but participated uh, with Hillary Clinton's perversions. She does have perversions. She's not a politician for the people and love for the people. She's quite the opposite. She's on wolf in sheep clothing. I have conversations with her, and she has a facility that has super soldier code activations of state by state. I do not know how many super soldiers per state, but I know that
Wow.
she has a particular code to activate all of us. And it's through a wavelength sound that would activate all of us based on that sound. It's a sound that it's not where everybody can hear the sound. It's a silent signal. It's an activation. And I hate to use this illustration because it doesn't do it justice. But Star Wars, the Clone Wars, how the stormtroopers received that code and it activated them and they start killing Jedi's, right? Okay, well, in our particular codes, it's not like that in that sense, but it's triggering in a global scale. It's a super. That's why I say everybody worldwide has gone through this similar experience that here in America we're experiencing. And it's the Illuminati or the dark powers that be. Hillary's a big player in this. She's a globalist. She has her tentacles all over the globe. She has codes. Her purpose is to establish a new world order or establish a one world government with a one world military one world military. And that military is the super soldiers, the greatest secret that is not being discussed. She told me all this, that the one world military is the super soldiers that is being sleeper agents worldwide. And there's a hierarchy of this. So a hierarchy meaning in Russia, they have a division. China, they have a division. United States have a division. South America have a division. But they're all connected into one agenda. That's global domination. And I don't want to sound like a conspiracy theorist or somebody who's just blowing hot air out of my mouth. I'm just sharing the flashback with Hillary Clinton per se, because when you brought her up, it triggered a lot of memories, a lot of flashback memories of my encounter with her and what a lot of the sources have stated to me about her. And there's a reason why they call us super soldiers. It's because here, in the United States, American soldiers that go out and fighting wars in other countries, they would never ever harm their fellow American, and that goes to the rest of the world. So what you need is a super soldier who has no allegiance to nobody on Earth. They are programmed to be a focused killing machine, govern a leader, or have the Illuminati as their as their true leader, true group leaders that they only obey, and they have no allegiance to America, would have no allegiance to China, Russia, German, whatever, UK, whatever. That's why the super soldiers are happening, and a lot of them are waking up. to the realization that they're being trained for something that they really don't know why they're being trained the way they're being trained for. It is because when it happens, it's going to hit the world like never before. We're gonna be like Superman or X-Men. We're gonna be in a grander scale. That's why you're seeing Marvel on movies. They're making movies and superheroes, TV shows, is to get people accustomed to the possibility that their
When they
superheroes
go
are going to come
active.
out. Yeah, they're going to come active, and that's why you're seeing a lot of that's happening today. It's wake up call. It's giving everybody accustomed to the styles that's going to take place when super soldiers are all activated. It's a scary thought when you really think about it, but there's a agenda behind Marvel and other superhero TV shows, movies are being, and they're getting, and people are accepting it. There's like, wow, I can't wait. I wish I was Wolverine, but there's a sleeper agent groups out there that still sleep. When they're activated, they'll all have various types of abilities, and they'll be under the military, the one world military, and that's where they'll be controlling the people because they'll have that ability, unstoppable military.
Okay, because I did see that us, the real super soldiers, were going to have a huge war against the military, the ones that Hillary
Yes.
Clinton wants, the ones that the fake secret space program that Trump was talking about. I call it fake because that's not us. That's not the real us.
Yeah,
But I
Hillary.
did see a war happening.
Yeah, we will. The super soldiers will have a war against the military on a global scale.
Yeah, that's what I
military.
thought.
But Hillary is playing devil's advocate. She's right now playing both good and bad. But her allegiance is to the super soldiers because they're going to come out as winners in the end of the war with the military worldwide. We will be a one world military that she will be proud to back up. And she has no allegiance to no nationalities. China, America, none of that stuff. Her allegiance is to the one world government, one world power, one world military, one world religion even. She's a globalist, but her allegiance is to making sure that the winner is definitely the unknown, the unseen, which is the super soldiers. And that's why a lot of people have flashbacks of seeing Hillary Clinton in their flashbacks. She has a big role in this investment of us. So when you talk about her, it resonates with me with what you're saying. We have to think outside the box. We have to think larger than life. We have to think big. We have to think global. We have to think the mindset of a globalist. And when you do, you see everything coming, big pieces of the puzzle attaching itself back together again. And you see the bigger picture. Oh my God, this is what they have planned for all of us all along. And for now, all I know is that we're sleepers. She has a code. It's not activated. None of us are globally activated, which is a good sign. But a lot of us are breaking away from this, and we're exposing her and all those that are trying to control us. In Hollywood, is another major cancer in America, but there's others worldwide as well. So politicians, movie producers, actors, people are making the millions. A lot of them, musicians, a lot of them have a big are aware of all this stuff. I'm pretty sure they are. But again, it's all closed doors. Only the elites know when it's the right time.
Well, they're introducing
then everybody will fall in place.
Yeah, and then I always talk about Elon Musk. It's like he's being controlled. He's AI. He named his child Apple. That should give indication that he's with the G Mafia, which is the Google, Facebook, Microsoft, Apple, Instagram, Amazon. You know that it's coming all together. They're wanting to use the Bitcoin, the other one that he's naming, and people are falling for it. And it's like they want the one world order to be digitized. Um, so we just have to be very aware. I've been telling people, don't take that vaccine, because they are injecting nanites to take over the cell membranes, the mRNA, through the mRNA, um, to control you, to mind control you. There's all these, buy this, buy that. Um, they want, they're like even Max Beer said, and I always say this too, they're after our hearts. They're after the children's hearts.
Right.
Anything uh, for them to keep you from realization that you are sovereign, that you are your own savior, that to trust in your abilities, that you don't need to depend on the 9 to 5 job, that et cetera, to self-love, to that's why they try and keep us down.
And
Because
that's
they
the key
know.
too. What Max said when you were mentioning Veronica, the point Max basically of all of this happening, he said that you want to know the key to a life in general is love. And it's crazy. That's one key, that what is the purpose of living is love. And Max
Exactly.
has really brought that up so many times, of all what's going on around the world and all what we're going through as individuals, being mind victims and what have you, is love. That's something they can never, the dark forces can never understand how powerful love is. That's
Hmm.
the secret to life and living. And that's what people don't understand. What is the secret of life? What is the secret of living? And it's so simple. One word is love. And that's
True.
what the people are lacking today. If you notice, everyone is lacking love. They're trying to deprogram us to not love each other. This is
Right.
why the distancing, the masks, people are not acting normal like we used to be when we used to hug everyone, our friends and
Yeah.
family. And you know how they're distancing us from that. And that's what they're trying to stop people from having, is love. And a lot of people,
Exactly.
instead of, I don't know if you've seen a group of people, well, there'd be a fight or something really, really happening in the streets or in the public. How a lot of people, instead of helping that individual, they're using their phones just to get a clip of being famous or making enough, likes and whatever, instead of helping that individual being hurt. That's what
Right.
Mac is trying to say. This is what's
And
happening. No one's loving anymore. And that's what I've
exactly.
noticed from relationships, friendships, groups of friends that we used to belong for for years, have
Hmm.
totally changed their personalities and not be your friend anymore. And
Yeah.
and I
No.
think that's the bottom line of the whole key is love. And Max had brought
Mhm.
that up. He said that is the secret of everything that's around us. And I love
And,
Max. That's what he gave us that.
Yeah.
and I would add on to what Sylvia was saying, that Max Spears, to a degree, was ahead of the road, ahead of the curve. He was ahead of valuable information that we today, it's like, oh my God, he knew this beforehand, or he was ahead of his time. He was like Nikola Tesla with electricity. He was ahead of a lot of stuff, and a lot of people look back and say, "Oh my God, this guy is this like several years ago or 10 years ago or whatever, way back," and they was telling this to everybody. But there's something I want to throw in. There's a very key point that Sylvia was making. Back during the Great Depression, here in America, for example, we my mom would describe that everybody helped one another. We During the Great Depression, people were, hey, I got a dime to help you buy a loaf of bread. Everybody worked together. But today's day and age, with all that's been happening, the dark powers that be are saturated us with such uh, devices and technology and things that detach us from each other, to the
Hmm.
point now that if we were to have a Great Depression, in the hole, because none of us, because when you walk the sidewalk, you see somebody, instead of looking at you, they're looking at their cell phone, they're looking at their devices, they're
Hmm.
detached. All they care about is likes or being popular. Instead of working together, the dark powers that be have detached us from joining together uh, as a united force, as a one people, a united people under the banner of love, and they're trying so hard to keep us so saturated with technology and detaching ourselves from that love from one
Humanity.
another. Yeah. So I look at it, and I see what it's like. I can see what's going on here. It's like people need to just, for a minute, take a step back and say, you know what? I want to see my neighbor. I want to talk to this person. I want to say, how you doing? You know, get back to get back together as a people. And because right now the Illuminati or the dark powers that be have done great disservice to the people, and they're keeping us apart, and that's why there's so much division happening, so much chaos happening, and so much violence happening actually. So
Well, guys, we have about, it's almost time to end. And I would like to continue it again. I'm, I think I
I
have,
know I don't want it to end. Actually, there was more
you
things I was
know,
going to say.
this has been so
But,
great. But before we go, I would like for each one of you to take turns saying how they can reach you. If you have a website, if you have abilities that you use, for daily, like say if you do readings, um, if you're what you're working on, anything that you can share. That way they know, how to contact you and things like that.
for me, Facebook would be Sylvie Vasquez. You can always chat with me there. It's so easy. I will probably put a link or something on. I'm going to try to do the same, make a page for me in my helping others also. That's something new I've been wanting to do. But you can also just, I don't know about phone texting, but that'd be a lot of text
Do
messages
you
for
have
me.
Instagram?
I do, and I have to remember it because I'm bad in memory, but I can post it. Trust me, I'll
Okay.
post everything for me. They could reach me or you. Um, but yeah, I was gonna share more stories. There's so much I wanted to share this one story, but I know the time is ticking. But I just want to share. It's about the alien thing. I'll make it quick. It was my cousin. He was mocking because we were having some alien experiences. I guess we were on our roof, and he was mocking them. And one time when he did that, he goes, "Well, show me you're here." And he was being very belligerent, very unkind. All of a sudden, all our power went off, and the whole neighborhood power went off. And
Damn.
that showed him, do not mock them. They were there. He was really like, he was basically pressing their buttons. And it just happened. The whole power went off all of a sudden. The whole half the neighborhood power went off, and
Wow.
nobody understood what happened. Nobody understood what happened here. Like, they didn't know what occurred, but actually he was mocking them and whoever they were. And that was an experience I never forget. I can know they were real, and I know they were on the roof,
Mm-hmm.
and he was making fun of them, saying, "Oh, you're here. Show me if you're here." And oh my God, the whole lights in the neighborhood went off.
Mm-hmm.
So that explains a lot. But there was a lot more stories too to that level. But
Yeah, we
that's
can
what I
we
wanted
can
to
I
share.
really wanna get again together with all of you. I have available in May, so I'll send you guys all that date,
Okay.
and if you guys are
Hopefully,
available, then
maybe
we'll do.
something new will come around that time, like another experience. Because
Yeah.
we
and
always get them off and on in our lives. It's just ridiculous. But
and really quick on my end, before we go on my end, before I go, um, I created a Facebook account. It's Hollow Cross, Hollow Cross, and I created it, and I like to gather as many people, like-minded people like ourselves. I would like to add them into the Facebook account, because I like to hear their stories as well.
Mhm.
So if they would like to add me as Holocross, I would accept them, and I would like to hear their stories and share with them my stories as well. And also, I'm not accustomed to doing interviews like this. I don't know how my conversation in this video turned out.
It's
I'm
great.
very nervous, but I
Yeah,
tried my
actually, it helped me
best.
out
The
too.
best. But again, it's a learning experience I had today with all of you. And
And
I hope to
Efren,
do more in the future. And I'd like to do, before I go right now, is I hope to get more people to do question and answers or phone calls. I like to
Yes.
hear from other people and what the questions that they might have for us. I like to talk to them. I like to interact with these people, the viewers who'll be watching this. Maybe next May or June or whatever that you April.
Yeah, if not, we can always go on Facebook and like do a live, and then just you come
if
on and other people come on, and I'm
Veronica,
pretty sure
after
we could do that.
if Ephraim
I'm
can
done.
stay, if Ephraim can stay after the show for a few moments, I would like to speak to him because I have something to ask him as well.
Awesome, sounds good. Okay, and we have one more. Andy, you want to tell us how they can get a hold of you?
Yeah,
And
I'm
then
on Facebook, Andrew Vasquez. I have Instagram, but I forgot to put on this new phone. I knew I forgot something, but I do have Instagram. I just had to put it in my phone again. But other than that, I'm not like same with Jamin. I'm not familiar with what do you call it? Communication through all this. What do you call the
Media.
online? Yeah, like social media. So I don't have too much of that because a lot of it, got to be careful with it. But Facebook, Andrew Vasquez, or Instagram, but I got to get back that on there on my phone.
good. Thank you guys, and you all,
Thank you so much,
know,
Veronica.
you're welcome. I love you guys so much.
Love you too, Veronica. You take
I'm
care.
gonna go visit you, Sylvia and Andy, and
Okay.
um,
Uh,
I mean, that's what's great about being in the same town.
bring some pizza, man.
You look great in that red tie and all that.
You're bad, man.
You look great. Jay.
You look good. I mean,
Thank you.
okay, well, and
Yeah.
I'm Veronica Bartolini with Unchained Hearts on my
Okay.
YouTube and Facebook, and we out. Thank you, everybody.
Okay. Thank you much. Appreciate it. You have a good night.
Bye.
Okay.